I'm gonna let some people slowly trickle in here. I know there's a bunch of, how do you say, more popular individuals streaming a bunch of Cube or whatever other nonsense it is they're doing. So I'm gonna give some people to trickle in here. Ended up making a couple changes to the deck that I will post up here once I actually open it up for everybody. Getting the chat all opened up. How's everybody doing tonight? So basically, only change I made is people were all about this collective brutality. So I decided I'll give it another go. Maybe I was wrong about it. Because we don't have a sun droplet anymore, but shrug. I mean, collective brutality is also fantastic in the burn matchup, so it shouldn't be that horrible. We also pick up an extra sideboard card against like things like ad nauseum now because of it, and I did actually play against that this morning when I was running through a few things. So as people trickle in here, I had Rudy Breska help me out with the mic setup. So if the mic setup's horrible and he's just sitting there trolling me, which I don't think that's Rudy. Rudy's better than that. Let me know if it's great. Awesome. We can all give Rudy big shout outs for being awesome and helping me out with that. But in the meantime, we're going to get in the queue. Because it's time to battle. Oh, friend Rudy. I should have assumed that you're Rudy. I think it sounds better. It sounded better when I was talking to you earlier. It sounded better when I heard myself when I had my stream unmuted, so I'm hoping it's way better. I'm sort of sitting here shrugging as I say these things, but... Oh yeah, Squirrel Loot. We're gonna go... Well, we're only gonna have 2 in a row because tomorrow I'm headed out for New Year's Eve, meeting up with a bunch of the SoCal Magic group, as we're planning to battle some board games in the early afternoon, head out, get a nice dinner, do some karaoke, and then just get completely obliterated at bar. Because that's, you know, sort of our life. Alright, I played Josh earlier. I don't remember what Josh was playing. I thought Josh was my really good ad nauseum opponent, but I could be wrong. Alright, Squirrel. Then we owe Rudy Breska tons of shoutouts. Alright, this hand's unacceptable. We're going to throw it back. Here we have a swamp. This is just also unacceptable. We're just going to be shipping this back. On the play, I don't think you can keep this hand. If this was an island, I would certainly keep this hand. I would never debate it, just because we're very likely to have a turn 2 Tassiger, but... Alright, as far as 5-card hands, though, this is pretty great. Opponent's on 61 cards. Oh, wait, I played against a 61-card player earlier today. They were on... Not Tron. Ah, crap. Short-term memory loss is just real. Alright, well, either way. They're on 61 cards. Noted. Bottom our swamp. We already have 2 lands. We can cast most of the spells in our hand. We'll find a land for this Kolaghan's command. I need to mod MTG bot. Ooh, MTG bot. Alright, MTG bot. Let's go through here. I assume I can just like click on it and it'll mod it. Alright, busted. Thanks, Ever. Appreciate it. Hopefully it got modded. Alright, well I'm gonna try to click through this. I think I've modded it, but it's like really acting up there for whatever reason. Oh, there we go, it's the restore balance player. Yeah, he mulliganed to 4 when we played earlier, and then I mulliganed to 4, and then we had a really sweet game. So here, it's really important to just find our counter spells. Our hand's just truly egregious. We have a Kolaghan's command, but that's about it. So I'm going to try to Thought Scour myself here and start getting the wheels turning. Milled over an Ancestral. We also milled over his Steam Vents. We really need to get other Steam Vents out of the deck with a Scalding Tarn. Open back up chat here. Alright. What's up, Andrew? How goes, man? Lightning Bolt's a really worthless draw for us. Our life total is not super relevant in this matchup, given that I'm just going to fetch untapped immediately and try to Thought Scour myself again. If I get a Tastigar, I'd like to play it. And like I said, we really want to get the other Steam Vents out of our deck. Again, I'm going to make a bunch of plays here, just hoping that this is my Restore Balance opponent. I believe it was, but I could be incorrect. Alright, end up finding a third land for this Kolaghan's command. So hopefully we do, in fact, have them play out a... God, what are those things called? Border posts. Those were before I played Magic. Oh man, look at that. You have all the shortcuts on hand, Squirrel Loot. Alright, so this would be play black, play a border post. The border post breakdown, when I looked at their deck earlier... Oh, I could have looked at this. It is this guy. Alright. This was a sideboarded game where they had all of the ley lines. They had a Maelstrom Pulse. I believe they had 3 blue-black, 4 red-green, 4 red-black, and 3 green-white border posts. Alright, so there's a border post. We're going to Kolaghan's command this and make them discard. Unfortunately, didn't mill over a sweet creature to buy back. Oh no, they have a second border post? That's rather unfortunate. Hopefully it's the blue-black one. The blue-black one is the worst one for them because we can just control creatures for a while. Alright, so problem with here is they have double red-green. So we're just going to cack them off of one of them. Another Thought Scour. Unfortunately, being on 5 cards, you don't have that many lands. Also not a great spot. We did mill over other Watery Grave. Also not a great spot. So we have to leave our swamp in our deck here. So we're just going to grab an island. And we're just going to go ahead and immediately make them discard a card and shatter this thing. Key thing to this matchup is finding your counter spells to be able to counter the Restore Balance, as none of their other cards really mean anything. Oh, Ghostly Prison. That was not in their deck earlier. I guess I would not have seen it, obviously. Alright, Beckstrom, that is absolutely awesome to hear. What's up, Holy Diva? Welcome back. Alright, third border post. Yeah, we're not looking great this game. Uh-oh, Simian Spirit Guide? No, you have to tap that for green if you have a Simian Spirit Guide. Okay, there's the blue-black one. Alright, Greater Gargadon's not great. We do have a Terminate, though, so it's not the end of the world. Of note, in Game 1, they also had a bunch of Metalwork Colossuses in their deck last time. So, our opponent's deck's really sweet, actually. I'm gonna go and Thought Scour myself here, try to find a Counter Squall. Don't find one, unfortunately. Can't even bluff that we have one, but we're gonna go and play this mountain anyways. We can't really beat a Restore Balance this game, given how poorly our hand is shaped up, so I don't think there's any harm in just playing on our 4th land. I'd actually rather set ourselves up for, we could possibly draw Cantrip into... I guess we can't do Cantrip into something, but we could potentially, like, Snapcaster Maiden, Cantrip. Maybe we should actually hold that land there for a turn, but... Alright, there's the Oath again. So this guy had to read earlier. Essentially, if any one of my cards goes to the graveyard, they get to take a counter off this thing. And when it hits 0 counters, it comes into play. It's a 4/4 Fear Haste. And Greater Gargadon's a awful 9/7 that eats my soul. Alright, Cryptic's a fantastic draw, and their hand currently is Swamp and 3 Unknowns. Problem is our Bolt here is really, really dead in this matchup, and being on 5 cards, we've sort of gotten ourselves into a tough spot. We're also in a tough spot where now they can just slam Metalwork Colossuses on us. Or Colossi, I guess. Alright. 15th border post. It's acceptable. Guess I should pull up my exile pile because we have an Ancestral on 3 here. Swamp and 3 unknowns. Currently have 12 mana towards Metalwork, so those are all free. Our opponent knows our deck because we played earlier, so. There you go. Thank you, Squirrel Loot. Nice, nice. Just what we were looking for. Another uncastable. I mean, I guess we can technically cast it, but not a card I ever want to draw in this matchup. But we can pair the two together right now to kill a Nilith when it comes down. When we get to sideboarding, we'll end up boarding quite a few cards in this matchup. It's unlike other combo matchups. Usually Fulminator Mage is really good. CHMGG, I will actually work on that. I want to stream again on New Year's Day. Hopefully I'm not completely hungover, but I do have a webcam here on my laptop. I just don't actually know how to get all of the sort of picture-in-picture things going. So I'm going to have to chat it up with some fine folks to help me out with that. Ooh, Tassagoyf. I don't want to put him into play yet just because we don't have the mana to hold up Cryptic Command, and on top of that, we are opening ourselves up to Draconic Dead, which requires a target. Ryan, I went and got a haircut the other day. Well, not even the other day. I guess it was actually yesterday. Because I was planning to stream with a webcam, and then it took me like an hour and a half to get the mic working at a very poor rate. Also, I couldn't get my monitor to display in the right resolution, so I spent 3 hours trying to set up the stream to any, sort of acceptable capacity that I never got around to that. And right now my hair is a little bit shorter than I'd like it to be, but whatever. Shrug, it grows back its hair. Alright, we're going to draw some more cards. Hopefully some of them are lands and some of them are counterspells. Alright, so this nil will tick down to 3. We did in fact draw a land, but not many counterspells. Alright, that's another land. That's actually a really good land too. So this one can get us our basic swamp, and off of the basic swamp here, I'm trying to think if there's actually a reason to get the basic island. We don't have a Snapcaster Mage. We don't have a Snapcaster Mage in our graveyard. No, we do have a Snapcaster Mage in our graveyard now. Okay. So that actually opens us up to the potential to want, rather than double black, wanting quad blue here in the event that we draw an additional untapped land. However, the only other untapped lands that we have in our deck are a Sulphur Falls, the Swamp/2 Islands that were made, and a Blood Crypt. So all of our fetches would be able to find the swamp. That's not correct. So we have one Scalding Tarn left. No, we have one Scalding Tarn left. Okay, so either way, either the Bloodstained Mire or the Scalding Tarn would be unable to get the Blast Untapped land. I think it's correct to get the 4th blue here, actually. But I just want to make sure I don't get whacked by a Greater Gargadon or something awful next turn. Alright, I think I'm going to actually get the swamp. I don't know if this is correct. Might be wrong. Might be horrendous. Our little homie 4/4 Fear comes on back down. So, Wiener Twitch, what it's going to do is it's going to make us sack all of our lands because they're mean and horrible people. And then they are going to beat us down with a 9/7 or a 4/4. Basically, that will come off suspend as they sack all of their stuff in response, minus one thing, making us sack down to no lands, discard our entire hand, and basically sort of kill us in a very miserable, what's left over way. Of note, we don't have many lands left. I didn't realize that we actually just have 10 cards in our graveyard and 7 of them are lands. Alright, so they did have a Violent Outburst there on end step. That's important. So it's very unlikely here that they can cast 2 effects in the same turn unless they're both Demonic Dreads. If they're both Demonic Dreads, well, then I'm going to feel really stupid. So, goodness gracious. With no hints whatsoever, CH? You're lucky if I can remember my own name some days, let alone guess who you are. I don't have a guess. It would just be too offensive to you, unfortunately, and probably too offensive to me. Yeah, Ari Lax played a build with Nahiri's. I played against Josh earlier, though. I actually have their deck list literally sitting here on my screen from when we played earlier, because I had surgicaled them, and that prompted a concession. Not activating Tassiger here. Not a product of my graveyard being bad, but more a product of I don't actually want to tap my mana. Spell Snare doesn't do anything in this matchup, unfortunately. The 4/4 can come down and hit us once. We're not really afraid of that. So we're going to go ahead and brawl here with Tassagoyf. If our opponent makes a play here to like sack a million permanents to Greater Gargadon and try to block, then, you know, more power to them. What in the world is this? Alright, whatever this is, it wasn't in their deck earlier. Lingering Souls? Anguished Unmaking. Whoa! That's sweet. Okay. Alright, yeah, I'm not gonna, like, bite on the bullet here, though. Alright, Tassagoyf gets exiled. Now we're in a weird spot here where this Nilith is going to come down. And we can't actually double bolt it on end step without risking our opponent try to Violent Outburst. But they didn't have Violent Outburst the turn previously where they could have gone for it when we had 4 mana on end stepped and then Draconic Dreaded. And we know one of their cards in their hand is still that basic Swamp. Oh, did he really? This is unfortunate. I spent a lot of time with Ari at tournaments too. Oh my gosh, MC Usher, you're great. That I should just know exactly what his list was, but, you know, again, being a lazy bum, not paying enough attention to the metagame and how things are changing and what's always going on. I should certainly know these things, though. Thanks, Harrison. Alright, 1,000th Border Post, Swamp's back in their hand again. God, I really just want to kill this stupid thing. It just doesn't feel like they have anything. I think Ardent Please the one that I'm thinking of. Like, we could Bolt plus Kolaghan's Command here, but then we just instantly lose to a Restore Balance, and I really don't like losing. My MTGO username is actually Magician15. I have Magician5 also, but I was suspended at one point for agreeing to a split in the finals of an 8-man draft where my opponent wanted the QP, so I was like, yeah, whatever, you can have the QP, and then conceded, and then I asked them to ship me 2 packs, and of course they didn't, so I reported them, and I got, you know, banned for a week, and they got banned for a month or whatever, but then I just made another account so I could keep playing, because it was over the holiday break when I was in college. Alright, whatever, we're just going to take the damage here, and we're going to kill it on end step. I don't think they have anything, but it would just hurt too bad to lose. We're probably just spewing value here and just being super stupid, but... Alright, bolt this thing, and I have to figure out if it's right to Kolaghan's Command. I don't know if it is. I would shock it and buy back Snapcaster Mage. I think I'm just going to bolt it again, actually. They know that I have Counterskull from game 1 last time we played. Alright, good. They sacked it to Gargo. Alright, sweet. Nothing horrendous happened. That's good. Alright, 3 counters on that. Swamp in hand, a bunch of unknowns. We can safely Serum Visions here and still bluffly have Countersquall. There, in fact, is a Countersquall. That's a really good one to find. We can actually dig into it with our Thought Scour. So I actually do want this 7th land also, so I'm going to end up putting both of these cards on top. And if worse comes to worse, we will mill our opponent with Thought Scour to pick up our Countersquall. So we're not going to end up doing any weird shenanigans here with Kick Command on end step. Amber, you can multi-queue all the time. Like I said yesterday, I'm down for people to be watching 15 streams at once. I mean, I had Owen, Finkel, Paul wasn't streaming at the time, but like I had one of my buddies that streams Hearthstone open simultaneously. Like I did have a ton of streams open all the time. If you guys could see my second monitor right now, just thankfully I closed all the streams, but I usually have a ton of them open at any given moment. It's kind of silly. Alright, so let's draw that Countersquall, and now we can actually get a little frisky here on the next turn. Actually, do we want to Thought Scour and immediately draw that land? We actually might. Let's actually do that. So just another blue source, so it allows us to make another land drop in the following turn, which is so important. Alright, unfortunately didn't mill over anything relevant. We milled over 2 more lands that we would have preferred our opponent to draw. Note, they have a Greater Gargadon not coming down this turn, but the following turn. Thanks, Harrison. Appreciate it, dude. Cliveside, it is... I think it's more of my generation thing than anything. Like, you're sitting there calling yourself an old man, but... I don't know. I just have to have multiple things going on, or... Like, I think when I'm playing Magic and just playing Magic and trying to, say, test out a deck for a tournament or what have you, like, I won't even listen to music or anything or have a stream going on in the background. I'll just do that. But if I'm just, you know, sort of kicking it there, having a lazy day, playing games or whatever, I'll usually have a stream open in the background, maybe have music open, be talking to someone. Like, I usually just have a lot of just random silly stuff going on in my life for no reason. Alright, giant 9/7 monsters from hell are coming in. Alright, this is going to get us to bite. We're going to tap our 2 non-blue sources here. Let them go into combat so they can't unsuspend the other Gargadon. Let this attack come through. They shouldn't have any like redirection effects and just blow us out here, so that's always nice. Terminate the giant monster. Anyone over 22 is an old man? Well, I'm fairly old then also. It's unfortunate. You do miss a lot. I will give you that. Okay, there we go. This is something we would want to K command. So this guy comes down. He's big and fat and big and scary. Oh boy. Alright, do we tap out here? We could just wait another turn. Gargadon would go to 5. Kolaghan's command puts the Nihilist to 3. It goes to 2 on upkeep. We can Snapcast or Terminate, but then we're in the exact same spot on the following turn. One of their cards in hand is a Swamp. I think we're fine to go for this here. So we're going to go ahead and turn target creature, destroy target artifact. So we'll get back Snappy Doo, and we'll shatter this, leaving up a red source. If our opponent kills us here in response, props to him. I think they play the game pretty reasonably if that's the case, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. Simian Spirit Guide. Why are they exiling Simian Spirit Guide? I know what the last card in their hand is. Unless the swamp went away somehow that I forgot about. Oh no, the swamp's right here. Fuck. Alright, well, we're dead. Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. At least actually the Gargadon while I wasn't paying any attention. Sacrifice all lands. Yeah, they're all gone. I don't want them. Alright, we're done here. Fair enough. We'll play to our opponent. They found a Violent Outburst in the turn they needed it. I think we were actually going to get ourselves in a dicey spot where we couldn't really get around that. We'd have to take 4 damage off the Nihilith. They would have played a Metalwork Colossus and Nihilith and a Gargadon active in the next turn. There might have been a better way I could have danced to that particular spot, but... Alright, so against them, E is great because it blows up all the border posts. The Surgicals just end the game on the spot. Negate is fantastic as well. I'm not sure about the Collective Brutality. We'll see how many cards we have to take out. All of our Lightning Bolts are truly pathetic because they don't kill any of their creatures. Last time our opponent left in 2 Lingering Souls. They had 2 copies of Pick the Brain and 1 copy of Beast Within. That's a weird one. Alright, so the bolts are definitely gone. We definitely want the Surgicals and Negates. That puts us up to 61. Clav, I think I'm going to try to set up the camera for a stream on New Year's Day. Rudy, I agree. Instead of putting all my lands into the graveyard with Thought Scours and my, you know, great ability to let my opponent resolve a restore balance, that I should, you know, probably put them on the battlefield so that I can hold up multiple counter spells and actually cast my spells as well. It'd probably be a better line of play. Oh, the spell snares are horrendous too. They can't put 2 mana spells in their deck because they need to cascade into 3 mana spells. That's why they play the border posts. You're not even legal in Vintage. Oh, goodness. Alright, so we might want this as a Staticaster, and we might want this Collective Brutality. Last time I played them, they brought in both copies of Leyline at 2x each. Excuse me there, I'm sorry. Trying to think, how effective is their deck actually going to be at grinding out Lingering Souls? It's like not very good. This card's one of the best. Oh yeah, Dokomoy, that was just like an insane run of emotions. It was, I thought I was in, I thought I was out, I thought I was in, I thought I was out. Then I heard Jamie call a judge because his opponent tapped his 2 forests and was trying to switch the way that he had tapped so he could play the second copy of Larger Than Life to combo with an Electrostatic Pummeler and Draft, and I was so sad. And then the judge upheld the ruling, and I was stoked again. And then Jamie and I ran into the bathroom. And we're like, "Good luck." Yeah, no, CHMTG. We're not bringing in Dispel. Does not hit Restore Balance. We could definitely hit the Violent Outburst, but not the most relevant. I think Collective Brutality is just gonna be too dead against their average draws. I'd rather have a Staticaster as our last card, and we'll let this rumble. You could make an argument there for Damnation, and I don't think Damnation's where I want to be in the matchup. I want to sort of be this like tempo deck with about 9 counter spells, 4 Snapcaster Mages. I guess it's 7 counter spells, but it feels sort of like 9 because you have the Snapcasters, and then the Surgicals are just, literally I win buttons. If you can Surgical or Restore Balance, you're not going to lose the game, except for in pretty crazy circumstances. Just saying, there really should have been a no option. I clicked submit deck, so hopefully it's submitted. It didn't submit. That's really not great. I saw the time run to 0, but I had clicked submit deck. Alright, well this is bad. We don't have our sideboard cards, so we don't have just free I win buttons. This hand is not good enough to keep. That's unfortunate. And this hand has a dead card also. Well, this is really unfortunate. Clefstein, usually you get one in the bin by countering it or milling it over with Thought Scour. Oh yeah, no, like I did that all the time playing sports too. Like, it feels great. Alright, Creeping Tar Pit. Let's see, what would our sequencing be then? We would suspend the Visions, play the Tar Pit, play the Thought Scour. So we're going to keep this. So we do want a 3rd land. This is a pretty important matchup to make your land drops. And moreover, we're sort of going to need our opponent to have a little bit of a fragile draw. Tapping 4 mana on our own terms seems ugh. Yeah, exactly, Tux, I agree. That's why I just can't really imagine. Wiener, we went ahead and we're trying out no Sun Droplets. We're trying out 1 Negate and 1 Collective Brutality right now. Alright, so our opponent's on a turn 1 Border Post. That means they likely have another Border Post in their hand and have a turn 3, so could have put our card there on bottom. I'm going to Thought Scour right now to see if it gives us any more information. Fortunately, we milled over the Tasker. We'd prefer to have drawn. Played our Tar Pit here, and then we're just going to try to hold on for dear life for a couple of turns. Best draw we could realistically hope for is a Kolaghan's Command, assuming that they don't just turn to us here. But, I mean, them turn 2ing us also just, like, doesn't do that much damage. Like, sure, we lose 2 lands, but we do have an Ancestral and Suspend on 3. Alright, Nilith. Nilith is out there in the void. Could have played around that slightly by cracking our fetch. Not the biggest or worst end to things. We'll play a fetch here, as now we have our 4 lands for Cryptics. With this one, we are... See, the red spells are all bad, so we're actually just... I guess we could just get a Blood Crypt, actually. It's not that bad. Just need our opponent to respect us here, that we're holding up mana, and they just don't go for it. They did have to burn a Simian Spirit God on turn 1, which I thought was a little odd, so I can't imagine them having a second land. Do I even want to sack this Tarn here? Green, blue, red. That would allow Violent Outburst, but that would also make them sack. So we would sack 2 lands. We would sack down to a Creeping Tar Pit, and our Sulfur Falls under the battlefield tapped. Alright, yeah, we're just going to crack this. What is this, Squirrel? Oh, the Gabby Clock? Don't worry, we're at 13 minutes. I spent a lot of the, like, first minute, I didn't do anything, and then... I like to hang out with you guys, don't worry, we'll be fine. Yeah, Collective Brutality is absurd against Burn, and people keep telling me, like, give it another chance, I think you're wrong, and... I don't know, I played against Burn earlier, and I drew it, it was good. I mean, I think I prefer it was a Sun Droplet, but... I reevaluated a couple of the sideboarding spots, and there are other spots I'd like to bring Collective Brutality, so overall it might be, like... maybe an 8.5 in the Burn matchup, and I think Sun Droplet's a 9. But if I do actually have that open slot that I think I have in other decks, then, let's give Collective Brutality another shot. Like, I probably in reality should just not have the negate, and see if we can get away with just 2 collective brutalities, and don't see if we need the help against Tron or Escape Shift. Alright, that's another land. What could their hand possibly be? Don't know. Not my job to figure it out yet. Alright, so Ancestral is going to put Nilith down to 3, but it's going to put us back to 7 cards. Our fetch land would put it to 2. There's our Counter Squall, and unfortunately here's another dead card. Comboing our dead cards together nicely. If we get a second Bolt here, we can actually combo 2 dead cards. That's a major game. Alright, we're going to get a Tarn out here. We're going to fetching up a Steam Vents and Unstep. We'll also, once we get the 6th land out, we'll be able to Counter Squall plus Snap it. Oh yeah, Zach, we weren't even, okay, it was 24 hours. It was 24 hours and like 18 minutes or something. Yeah, Rudy, that was what I was able to do, and it did feel pretty filthy. I do think that's probably close to the norm expectation for the card. Like, you need to be expecting it to do that much. Otherwise, it's just not worth a slot in your deck if it's not doing that amount of work. I do love how they literally have 4 different basics. It just makes me really happy. It's just like a total disrespect for the game kind of thing. It just makes me really happy for some reason. That somebody's able to do something silly like that and get away with it. Alright, this is going to take the Nilith down to 1. We're going to set ourselves up for a spot where we can Bolt Snap, Bolt it, hold up Counter Squall for the Restore Balance on their end step, but unfortunately we don't have Surgicals to just randomly draw to, because I thought we had Click Submit deck. I'd certainly Click Submit deck, but it didn't go through. It's probably just me trying to blame something else for my error for not being very thorough and making sure I hit it with 30 seconds on clock instead of 11. Stupid millennials are always trying to blame somebody else. I think I'm a millennial. I don't know what generation I am. I'm just making it up at this point. Who knows? Holy diva, if you are going to multi-queue streams and talk in more than one of them, you got to make sure that your chat game's on point, though. That's the only crap I'll give you for it, because I'm glad you're hanging out and having a good time, but that's pretty funny. Yeah, if you don't remember your Sun Droplet triggers, that card is really atrocious. Alright, so they're not trying to go for any shenanigans here. They don't have double green, so they can't actually, even with a Simian Spirit Guide, double Violent Outburst us. I don't remember seeing Ardent Plea in their deck last time we battled, so let's make sure we fetch first, so we don't get ourselves in any silly spots where we get ourselves killed for no reason. This one we can go ahead and get a Swamp. We'll start preserving our life total a little bit here, try to somewhat respect our opponent's game with a 9-7 there on Suspend. Hopefully our opponent doesn't figure it out that we failed to sideboard by us casting this Lightning Bolt. But I'm kind of happy we're going to have the Snapcaster Mage in play, because then we're going to have Snapcaster plus Counter Squall up, and we're going to hopefully start clocking them here. It's going to put the Gargadon down to 8, and hopefully, 10 turns later, probably closer to like 7 turns later, they'll just be dead. Alright, get this off our table. I was born in 92, so I am a millennial then. What emote is that, Zach? Aber's an excellent scapegoat. I've never had a bad thing to say about Aber, because he's so nice, like painfully so, that I just can't imagine what anyone would ever blame Aber for. That's just my limited experience with Aber, though. Alright, so here's a Violent Outburst, as expected. We're going to get to Counter Squall this, and then we're just going to hold on for dear life, as they say. Oh my gosh, and our opponent's sacking a bunch of lands. Keep going, opponent. Just don't Pact to Negation me. I don't want to cry. It'll make me really sad. Please don't Pact to Negation me. I'll be so sad. Like, just a different unlevel. Alright, there's the Restore Balance. Counter this. Alright, it got instantly chucked into the bin. Alright, I think we're alive and kicking here, friends. By calling you nice, I don't understand you. That's fantastic. Alright, usual proceedings here. Crack your fetchers before you end up scrying. So we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves... Looks like a tapped watery grave is more of what I'm in the marketplace for. So we'll get that tapped. We'll go ahead and Serum Visions. This finds us another Serum Visions and a Terminate. That Terminate's great for dealing with the Gargadon. So we will leave it on top. I'm trying to figure out if we want to leave the Serum Visions on top. We have another Serum Visions right here in our hand. I think we can wait a turn before drawing this Terminate. I guess we would prefer another redraw off another Serum Vision, so I'm going to go ahead and top both of these cards. So now we're just up extra lands, essentially. We could sort of be mana conservative, but I'd rather be scry conservative at this point, so I'm going to hold the Visions for a turn. Again, the Spell Snare doesn't do anything in this matchup, so it's kind of unfortunate that, you know, we have a literal dead card in our hand, but hey, we'll fight through it. Holy dude, you can't even qualify for a PPTQ? What are you talking about? You're so silly. I think my opponent played it, like when they played against me earlier, CHMTG, they just know that I don't have soft counters of that nature, so they're just not concerned with, you know, playing around Spell Pierce. But I do agree that they, you know, there's no mana burn anymore. You should just play around it. It's free. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and draw other Serum Visions here. Let's see, we have a Lightning Bolt and a Mountain. That would give us to 8 lands, and we do in fact have 6 blues. So I'll go ahead and take that. Let's see, we would have 6 lands again, so we can Serum Visions this turn. So we'll go ahead and Serum Visions again right now, and that'll get us Terminate mana up plus Cryptic up. Keep ourselves protected. Don't need another Cryptic, and we don't need this Thought Scour, so get rid of both of these. Play our Mountain, and let's go to Battletown. Hit F6 there, but then I realized my opponent's basic was a forest. Probably shouldn't be doing that. Simian Spirit Guide. Alright, so we're end step going for it here. Alright, so given that, what we want to do here is we want to counter this and probably bounce their forest. The reason for bouncing the forest here is that they can't get both red and green on the next turn to Violent Outburst again. However, if they have another red source, they could red source plus... red source plus Demonic Dread or Snapcaster. So I guess there's a little bit of a balancing act here of do you want to bounce our Snapcaster Mage or bounce their forest? So we're certainly countering. Gargadon's on 4. They've already played 2 Outbursts. Let's just take a peek one more time, see how many they left in against us last time. They left in all 4 Dreads. So they leave in all 8 Cascade spells. I think given that information, we're going to end up leaving open a Steam Vents and a Swamp because it also bluffs a Counter Squall. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and bounce my Snapcaster Mage here. So let's go ahead and counter target spell and return target spell permanent to center's hand. Oops, no. I don't want to bounce the Tar Pit. Counter target spell, return to permanent center's hand. Spell, snappy. Alright, blue, and tap the Mountain. Alright, so this prevents us from getting dreaded next turn. It's unlikely our opponent has dread based on the way that they played their outburst turn. They successfully give their creatures plus 1 plus 0. Expect my opponent to pass her pretty frequently. Oh my gosh, the chat has devolved to this. We're talking about the water quality of Michigan. Goodness gracious. You guys are great. Green mana. I mean, if they had another Simian Spirit Guy, we couldn't have prevented a 3rd outburst. The way we had played it forced them to have a red border post, but that would have taken over the course of 2 turns. Oh, Zach, you bounce your Snapcaster Mage a lot in this deck. It is a true delight when I figured out how to do that. Maelstrom Pulse? What is this? What is going on? Oh, we're just floating a bunch of mana and gargoing? Alright, at least they're correctly doing it this time. Man, hopefully our opponent's not just learning from the stream. That would make me kind of tilted. My opponent played so well the last time I played them, and then you guys are thinking of these things that I shouldn't even think about because I don't have, you know, Mana Leak or Spell Pierce or any of those silly spells in my deck. And now they're just like, ooh, every single little point they're loading it right now. Uh-oh, and a red? Oh no, no, don't do it. No. Brutal. They did have the Demonic Dread. They had to sack all of their stuff, so that's going to kill all of our stuff. Ripperoonie lands. Alright, well, we're going to be in this weird spot for a while. So I have to discard down to one card from this, right? Choose a card in your hand. Okay, so... choose the card in your hand. Click done to discard the rest. I choose Snapcaster Mage. Done. I don't think we have many lands left. Back to square one. Alright, it's a good draw. We should find a land now. See how many lands do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13. So we have 10 lands left, and how many produce mana? Not particularly many. We have 1 Watery Grave, 2 Watery Graves, a Steam Vents. We only have 1 blue-black land. We have our black-red land. 2 islands, a swamp. These bolts aren't helping. Adam. Alright, that land unfortunately doesn't allow him to start posting up again. Slowly start the rebuild. I guess I could pop this out so we can actually see what we're missing here. They're going postal. Ooh, tar pit. What's up, buddy? We're gonna need you to do a little bit of the heavy lifting, as they say. Really nice draw would be a Steam Vents here. White, red, black. What's going on over there? They're just casting more butter post. Oh, pick the brain? Sure. Which one do you want, friend? So you want my Snapcasters? No, you want my Tassigers. Okay. Interesting to me, because I can just put a Snapcaster on the battlefield next turn. It's not getting to sideboards coming back to bite us. It sucks. Oh, balls. There's the... There it was, Zach. Alright, now we have to figure out if we want to just suspend this Ancestral Vision or play around them drawing their second copy of Pick the Brain. I think I'd rather suspend the Ancestral. I think that we're going to have to eke out some margins here. I'm also not going to crack this Delta. It can get all 3 colors of mana still, because I still have 1 Steam Vents left. But, uh-oh, Restore Balance on 6. Alright, we got 6 turns to get 2 lands here, friends. Bounce your land, play another Postal. They're holding onto their planes this turn. I don't know why. Again, holding on this land for a while. I want to draw lands at this point. Not a land, unfortunately. No big deal. It's possible we're just going to flash in a Snapcaster here on this end step, though, no matter what. I do kind of want to play around Demonic Dread as long as possible, but there's only 1 Restore Balance left in their deck, unless they've drawn the other 2. Alright, 15th border post of the day. Alright, yeah, I think I'm going to try to play around Demonic Dread a little bit longer here. I think I can afford to wait. I think I'm actually, like, reasonably ahead still. Kind of absurd to say I'm ahead after I got Armageddon for 8 lands or what have you, but I actually don't believe we're behind. Alright, Scalding Tarn's freaking fantastic. Welcome to the team, Scalding Tarn. So, Scalding Tarn can get us a black source also. So we currently have access to 3 blue or all 3 colors. We could get all 3 colors anyways by getting a green. That's not good. Man. Oh, they just don't have another restore balance? Alright, that's fantastic. Alright. I was so sad for a second, too. Alright, so I was right. We are really far ahead. We just need to outlast this restore balance in 4 turns. We have an Ancestral coming off. We're just not gonna... We can actually put a creature into play now, because I actually don't think we can realistically die. I don't know if that's correct, but... Alright, with this Delta, I'm going to go get a basic island and just put our Snapcaster on the battlefield. I'm going to target a Thought Scour to make our opponent think that we're going to do something with it, but... I guess I could look at my opponent's deck list, but I'm just like... Not really about that right this second. Opponent's disconnected. Why would you disconnect? It wasn't... I don't think you'd be embarrassed about your play. Oh, there were 3 restore balances in the graveyard. How did we miss that? I guess. Yeah, we can start bolting their face here soon, Tux. That is actually my next plan. I wanted to draw another land this turn. Just to hold up Cryptic so we don't accidentally lose this restore balance. But I guess the clock is technically in our favor where we attack them for 2 here. Bolt them on end step after fetching our Steam Vents. They go to 9. Next turn, attack them to 7. Snap bolt them to 4. Attack them for 4 and they die. Yeah, Sriracha, I see the one at Suspend. I just didn't see the 3rd one in their graveyard for whatever reason. I forgot we had counter-squalled it earlier. And the 2nd one we Cryptic'd. I just completely forgot that there were all 4 already literally on the table somewhere. And I don't want to win by timeout. We just want a sweet game where we drew a bunch of spell snares and lightning bolts. I just wanted to surgical them. I don't think that they should be shameful about that. I think it's like a perfectly reasonable line of, like, alright, I'm going to Armageddon you again. Do you want to concede? And it's like, no, I'm not going to concede. I'm sitting here hanging out with you guys. I don't fault them for that at all. Aber, how'd you end up doing at Denver again? I know we were talking about it. I thought you told me you got a pro point, so I think you ended up 10-5, right? Or 10-4-1? Hey, Ben Whites, how goes, buddy? I guess we can look at all their deck now. I guess we have all the time in the world. Oh god, we're gonna get a lot of repeats, because I haven't been clearing this. Yeah, you 10-4-1. That's really fantastic. You should be stoked about that. That's a really good job. Alright, so I'm going to assume the cards towards the bottom of the list are the ones they revealed most recently. So it looks like they have probably 2 Nihilus, maybe 3 Nihilus, 1 Colossus left, 2 Leyline of the Void, 1 Leyline of Sanctity, the Maelstrom Pulse, pair of Gargos, a Beast... Yeah, it really only looks like their way to win at this point is to draw a Gargo or a Beast Within and then try to, like, get us, but I just don't see that happening. Nah, Zach, I'm not doing the Legacy GP. It was like $500 and I have to take 2 days off of work. Yeah, it's also my mother's birthday that weekend, so I'd kind of just rather be here, I guess. I don't know, I was really into it when I thought, oh man, I can play Miracles or Storm and get to play Sensei Divining Top before it gets banned, but, I mean, I don't have insider knowledge. The Sensei's Divining Top is getting banned. I'm not a crazy person. Yeah, Tux, you're certainly right. I should have gone for, I think the best line was Bolt, the next turn Snap Bolt, attack. That's 8 points of damage, they'd be at 6. Next turn Bolt, Snap Bolt. So they're literally just dead in 2 turns. So I actually just gave up a turn. I literally have no idea what CHMTG is. I don't know if Miracles is truly that oppressive, but I do believe it is that much of a better deck. Alright, I'm hitting Dismissal. There's just too much nonsense going on there. See, our opponent didn't shame disconnect. They probably literally just disconnected. Alright, let's get in there and battle a little bit. Got 1 more turn until this Ancestral comes off, giving us even more incentive to start playing cards from our hand. Unfortunately, who is the really smart person again? Somebody's way smarter than me and actually does math on the fly rather than me who's trying to counter or restore balance instead of winning the game. I think I do believe that my opponent should pick up their cards at this point. Tux, there we go, Tux. Really? You don't think Top will ever get banned? Really? Huh. I don't know. I played with the card a few times, and that card just feels really silly. Oh no, they drew a Metalworker Colossus? Can they keep recasting it too? Oh boy. Okay. Fair enough. I forgot that they had the one Colossus left in their deck, and this card's going in a random order thanks to Cascade. Alright, alright, alright. Well, making a battle of it. We'll go to 8. They just sack 2 of these, and they have 6 mana for it. Getting the Steam Vents because it allows us a 3rd blue. Oh man, I'm really getting punished for taking my horrendous line here. Wow, this is so bad. We're so dumb. Tux, you're so smart. I'm so dumb. The way I play this game, I do not deserve to win. I think I played like the middling sequence of the game pretty well, but probably played one land too many and then did not pay any attention to what was going on my opponent's board. Alright, Kick Command's pretty useless here because they have their guy in their yard. Ooh, there we go. Our mountain's gone, but the guy says a Blood Crypt. So that gives us Cryptic, and we can Snap Bolt Snap here. So this puts our opponent technically to 4. And we don't even need a combat step on the turn after. What the heck's going on? White, black. Are they going to anguish on making my Snapcaster Mage? Okay. Shrug. That's fine. Snap Bolt. Did I say Snap Bolt Snap again? Bolt Snap Bolt. I'll get it right once. Oh gosh. Sriracha, thank you for keeping me on point with those. That's really bad. So the K command's less useful here, but because they can just sacrifice the artifact that I would target to shatter, should just sacrifice it with the Colossus to bring it back. It would force them to make a move, but it's just not very effective. I guess we're also at the point of the game where we don't really need to be shattering their artifacts. We're just sort of at the point of the game where we just want to be bolting our opponent. So yeah, see, I did it. I'm learning. Yeah, if we ever play in a paper match and I try to bolt snap you, just immediately just look at me and just say PogChamp. And I'll just immediately start laughing. It's probably the point we'll get to at this point. Alright, bolt you. See, we got 4 minutes, they got 2 minutes, and we're sitting here hanging out. See, Armageddon's not that hard to beat. Armageddon, they can leave legal. This Blood Moon nonsense on turn 2, that stuff's out of hand. Alright, this puts our opponent to 1. They only have 2 cards in their hand. I think I'm just going to try to bolt them right now. I don't really see that big of harm in this. And we get to sideboard this time. Oh my gosh, we have added quotes now. This is the life. Oh, I should have closed Skype. I'm sorry about that. Let me get rid of that for you guys. I was on Skype earlier. Thankfully, Bree was... What the hell? My sideboard's all correct. What is this nonsense? Magic Online. What the heck are you doing to me, man? Alright, so we didn't see any Lingering Souls in their deck that time. So I guess we don't need the Staticaster. I guess his Brutality is just better. Our opponent's got a minute and a half on the clock or so. Hopefully those are everyone's reactions to just seeing my sideboard. Oh no, oh, Jesus. I don't know. We certainly drew 3 bolts and 2 spell snares. What were you on before the Splitter Twin ban? Wiener Twitch, I was actually playing a version of this deck that had Jace Vryn's Prodigy. If you go ahead and look up Grand Prix Pittsburgh 2015, I ended up losing in the top 8 to teammate at the time, Craig Wesco. He was playing the Green-White Hate Bears deck. The deck was really fun. I was like learning some things on the fly, and I got to play against a bunch of players that were a lot better than me, but it was probably my first Grand Prix after re-queuing for the Pro Tour, and I had a blast. It was great. I think once Yahenni's Expertise comes out, I've had a bunch of people ask me about that card. I think I'll give that version of the deck a try again, as I think it structurally supports more of a tap-out control style. If you lose this match, I'd open a ticket. Yeah, we can open a ticket later. We've got surgicaling to do. Yeah, maybe we should have boarded in Damnation on an opponent with a minute 59 on the clock. Yeah, I had a PN Kieran. I'm trying to think, did I have any other sweet fatty in the deck at the time? I think I just had 2 PN Kierans. God, PN Kieran was so great that weekend. I had so many twin opponents that I would board out twin in the sideboarding games. They snap kept 7, and this is my hand. This hand's terrible. We're going to mulligan this. This hand doesn't have a land. This hand has a land and is also terrible. Alright, we're going to keep this hand. It's not good. That's the second land. We'll keep that land. Leilana's Sanctity. That is fine. Just trying to kill some border posts. Oh yeah, there were some Tassigurs. I was just thinking if there was any like other 4-mana sweet creature that we played. Those are what I call fatties in Modern. Like Kalidas, Karanos, stuff of that nature, where it's just like... Oh no, I had a Glendolenda Archmage that weekend. Definitely had a Glendolenda Archmage. I'm just going to play Steam Vents tapped. Can't balance... Yeah, they can't balance us if we're on 5 cards and just don't have any lands. Like... What do you want him to do? Yeah, Glendolenda was so great. Winter Twitch, I think you just had to fundamentally change the deck. Like, I don't think the cryptic commands fit anymore. Whoa, they didn't play a land that turn? Okay, so we're almost certainly getting Restore Balanced. God, I want to make a play here and just not play a land. Is that just, like, ridiculous? I think playing a land is going to get both my lands blow up. I'm just going to pass. I think this is a little weird, but... No, I think Jace the Mind Sculptor, if they unbanned it, would be really broken. I think I talked about this yesterday. If they unbanned Jace the Mind Sculptor, I think Disrupting Shoal just jumps up to, like, a $30 card. I think that's the way you trade card advantage for tempo. Yeah, I've done a couple podcasts on this, actually, where, because I love Modern so much, people always want to ask me about my thought process on Modern bannings. And that question comes up so much, like, would you unban Jace? And it's like, heavens no. That card is so powerful. Alright, so here, if we let them kill 2 of our lands, how sad are we? We're sad, we're not terrified. So... It's possible they only kill 1 also. I'm trying to think if there's any reason to hold up mana for a Snapcaster Mage. Start punching him in the face a little bit. Nah, I don't think we need to. Don't think we need to. I'm just trying to get to the point where I can call Agon's command, shock myself, and shatter my opponent's border post. I sort of want them to get a Restore Balance into the graveyard so I can just surgical it, but realistically, the only way we're losing this match, unfortunately because of the clock, I mean, I don't like winning that way, but that's how we're going to win this match, is to our opponent killing us with, I always forget the silly 4/4 Fear's name, Nihilum or something like that, Nihilum. And you see, now I'm just saying the team that, you know, plays all the major gaming events. What in the world's going on? Oh, they just hardcast another... What the hell? Did they mean to exile 2 of these and cast one of them? I would have just killed it, but... Alright, who knows what's going on over on that side of the table? Drew another land. Ugh. Guess I'm gonna play it and probably just shatter and shock. Yeah, it's fine. Alright, destroy target artifact, shock target player. I have to shoot myself because of the ley line. Yeah, it's... Hell yeah, Ankove, that's awesome! Nilhilith. I'm gonna go ahead and surgical my opponent on draw stat to figure out what the heck's going on over there. They have more of these silly border posts, like, I'll take it. Obviously, they have 1 in play, so it's unlikely to happen, but I'd like to see how they're gonna try to kill us here. Don't worry, I won't take a minute and 45 seconds. Okay, they're just conceding. That's lame. Kind of lame way for this match to end. Like, I was in a 5-card hand that was, like, not great, but it was functional. And I think we could have had a sweet game given the fact that I had just drawn 2 surgicals, and I think we were playing a really sweet balancing act there of, like, me trying to figure out how many lands I could get them to restore balance, and then surgical all the restore balances so I could build up to a Tassiger. I think we were going to have a really sweet game there. Yeah, correct, Tux. Because they had their swamp in play, they would have to get on their border post out. This is a travesty in the Wally. I have the 5th most views. Oh, there's just not many people streaming, so it must be like Honf and Finkel streaming. Yeah, BlameJ24, I need to work on it. It's a work in progress. This is only second stream. I've only recorded that one set of videos for CFB, but I do want to work on my ability to chat with you guys and also be able to, also battle the game. Ooh, I have to scroll to find the clue. Is your clue the traverse is the Uvenwaldi? Sriracha, like the not playing lands. Yeah, you make some weird plays in that matchup. I love matchups that make you think in like very, very weird ways. I don't really like what the deck's doing at the end of the day, where it's just like, oh, blow up all your lands so you can't play. The Uvenwaldi. Goodness gracious. What's up, Andy92? Thanks for the host, Hoogland. Appreciate it. What's up, Durfiend? Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy Cube, but it's very short doses for me, especially when it's just like people killing each other on turn 3. Like, I just want to Force Storm every time. If I'm really hungover come tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, maybe we'll Cube. Oh yeah, Durfiend, don't worry. I'm mostly a constructive player. What's up, Emberk? Dude, Aber, I stormed before it was cool. That's not true. Those people probably stormed before I played Magic. Alright, one other die roll. We're very lucky. Hand's functional, not great. We have Snapcaster, 4 lands. I'm just going to lead on a Tar Pit. Want to preserve our life total until we know what our opponent's up to. This is also nice because while we wouldn't be able to Lightning Bolt without taking some damage, at least we have a Bloodstained Mire, which will save us a little bit of life here so we don't have to shock ourselves with Steam Vents. But we'll have an untapped red and be able to Thought Scour. And then on the following turn, Snapcaster Lightning Bolt. So that's what we're sequencing here. Winter Twitch, I would be very surprised if we didn't at some point again play Jace Fringe Prodigy. Ooh, are we going to finally get to fight a Junder and Abzan player? Gosh, I hope it's Junder Abzan. People have been asking for... Oh, nope. Noble Hierarch of an Overgrown Tomb. Okay, this might be Abzan. That's a really good draw if it is Abzan. Alright, so given that, I'm going to fetch a mountain that still allows us... We would only have one black source. I don't think that's the end of the world. We're going to get ourselves a mountain here, though. We're going to bolt this Noble. I don't know what Overgrown Tomb deck usually plays Noble. I guess it could be Black-Green Infect, too. That matchup's not that great, if I recall correctly. I haven't played it in probably a year or so, but... Rhymes with Jark. Bark. Hark. Stark. Ben Stark? Tarmogoyf. 3/4 Tarmogoyf. Alright, we're just gonna have to know ourselves. A little large and in charge for our taste here. I guess if we... Sorry, if we don't mill ourselves here, we get the only instant out of the yard. So we're not gonna mill ourselves here. Critical thinking here. So we're gonna end up Snapcaster bolting this Tarmogoyf, and it'll be a 2/3 because there'll be no instants in the graveyard. So we're not gonna Thought Scour ourselves here. It's gonna leave ourselves in a little bit of a vulnerable position to a potential Liliana, but we have Kolaghan's Command to get back the Snapcaster Mage from our graveyard and deal with the Liliana and still have Spellsnare up. So it's actually a pretty sweet sequence of turns. We have to figure out what we'll be discarding to Liliana. It's likely going to be the Thought Scour or the Island. So we're going to go ahead and shock ourselves with Steam Vents, given that information. Leave up a red source so we don't make a critical error here. Bolt the Tarmogoyf. And state-based checks, and it in fact does die. Alright, so they are on Abzan. We figured that out thanks to Tarmogoyf and now Marsh Flats. This is probably Liliana. Nope, Lingering Souls. Alright, really, really bad for us, but here we are. So we can start trying to slog through it. We do need to get a second black now really aggressively because they have the long game sort of locked up because of these spirit tokens. So I think my plan here is I'm going to Thought Scour myself off the Steam Vents right away. Yeah, we're going to go do that. It finds us a terminate. We milled over 2 lands, so we'll play our island. We're actually going to attack with the Snapcaster Mage. The 2-1 body isn't doing us anything that much, and we would like to kill off one of these spirit tokens if our opponent's willing to trade, because we can get our guy back with Kolaghan's Command. Alright, successfully enacted the trade. Good for us. We're not going to fire off the K command until end step, because we would like our opponent to hold off as long as possible on, developing the board. Taking 1 damage isn't fantastic, but Inquisition of Kozilek, that's really bad. Not great. Okay, so the worst thing could possibly happen is they play another Black Source and they play Liliana. I think given that, I do want to... can make them discard a card and buy back our Snapcaster and make them discard the Snapcaster. Or we can kill off the Spirit Token. Currently their clock's on a 6 turn versus our Creeping Tar Pit would be a 5 turn with the Bolt is 4 turn if we can find a land. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of a card advantage game here through 3 souls. Feels pretty weird to do that though. Yeah, it just seems too silly. We're going to buy back Snapcaster and kill the Spirit Token. So we ended up taking a point of damage off of it we didn't want to, but we were buying into that anyways. So good discard spell here by our opponent. They're going to have to now take the Snapcaster Mage. And hopefully they don't resolve Liliana the Veil. So I still haven't found out if this is Ben Stark. Now I want to scroll up and find out. I love everyone just like bark, lark, nark, mark, stark, shark. Yeah. Bolted Goy. Oh yeah, we did it. Mastermind. Alright, Thought Scour, mill ourselves again, try to find us. Alright, found ourselves another Snappy Doo. So we're just gonna go and hold up here shortly. In an ideal world, we would Snapcaster K command and start looping Snapcasters, but it's very possible we don't get to the, ideal world. We'll go and take a little bit of damage here. Thankfully, we've killed out 2 of those Spirit Tokens, so it's possible we could grind through it. But if they have another, powerful threat here, which seems unlikely given that they just flash back Lingering Souls, we could get ourselves into a dicey position. They can't have Liliana because they played this Godless Shrine tapped, so they can't really have good 3-mana plays. Most people don't play Siege Rhino right now, but hey, if our opponent has Siege Rhino, that's going to be sweet. Alright, so what do? They escalated it, so we are just going to go ahead and counter this or Spell Snare. Our opponent has to know that's coming because they saw the Spell Snare. So, sounds like they want to resolve a good 2-mana play, but we have Bolt and Terminate. And they only have 3 types, so this Bolt does just kill this Grimflayer. We're going to pull that off right now. This leaves us the Terminate for a Goyf. Nice, you drew a Creeping Tar Pit. That's a really excellent draw. So now we can actually play both the sort of like mid-rangey game and the long game. And this is without drawing an Ancestral Vision. So the best card in our in the matchup we could possibly draw, we haven't even found yet. Oh no, not again. Ugh. That's not good. That's really not good. Okay. Figure if we want to terminate one of these tokens now. Because we're going to have to start spending our mana pretty aggressively. I think I am going to burn one on those tokens. Not a great spot to be in, but that's where we're at. Hold up Snappy for a second. Maybe we can get our opponent to jump with a burn spell. We don't. They're going to attack. We're just going to go ahead and Kolaghan's Command, shock one of these spirits, and buy back their Snapcaster. We can get ourselves into some dicey spots, but I think it's more likely that our last card in hand is like a Path or an Abrupt Decay. Certainly they could have drawn, a Liliana or one of those other powerful spells that I'm worried about happening, but I think we're still at a spot where we can grind through what's going on in the game, and I'd rather take the opportunity to do so. Oh, Searsus, you forgot headphones. All I do is babble all the time. We talked about this yesterday. Alright, there's all the rest of the souls. Hopefully this isn't also a 2-drop. Oh, it is a 2-drop. Alright, this is bad. Drew ourselves a Blood Crypt. Do have a Bolt. Let's go ahead and Serum Visions. Hopefully send some good action here. Found a Cryptic. Alright, that's really important. We have to figure out this Counter Squall is important. They're at 15. We're going to attack with our Snapcaster. They block with a Spirit. The clock comes down by a turn. We're probably going to end up Snapcaster bolting the Flare, playing a tapped Blood Crypt. Turn after, tap their team, bounce a Spirit. The counter scroll looks like it's going to be good that turn, but they're going to have something, so I'd rather just bottom and try to find another proactive card. Alright, so let's get in there and battle with Snappy Doo. Opponent correctly figures out a no blocks line is most ideal. So we're going to snap bolt. It's possible here we wanted to save the terminate, but or we'd rather use the terminate to save the bolt, but alright, we got a racing hand now. We can, they hit us for 4 down to 6, we hit them for 4 down to 9, they hit us down to 2. We hit them for 4 down to 5, we cryptic tap, oh no, a third Lingering Souls. Alright, that's not really gonna be beatable here. That's kind of brutal. Alright, I think we can potentially win out the Snapcaster or Cryptic, but we need them to not find a block on this turn. So they're going to have to take a more conservative route here. Man, drawing 3 Lingering Souls. This is really bad. We took a line to try to fight through everything. I would be very surprised if my opponent blocked here. Maybe I should have played my Sulfur Falls first to incentivize even further them not blocking. Alright, good blocks by our opponent. Now we have to figure out if we want to just Cryptic immediately here to save a Snapcaster. I don't think that we do. Good block by our opponent. Player Sulfur Falls here. I'm going to tap their team and draw here. In a pretty dicey scenario. Probably need to draw Kolaghan's Command off this Cryptic. Terminate's probably not going to do it here. Probably going to end up falling. Third Souls comes off Flashback. Another Goyf. Do have a Terminate for that. We'll blast it off. And a Delta. Alright, we're dead. Maybe could have won that game taking a more aggressive line. Obviously our opponent didn't have the Lingering Souls the turns that we, weren't trying to play around Lingering Souls, but yeah, them's the beats. Not good to lose the first one, because the sideboarded games can be pretty swingy with, depending on when they draw a hand control spell. But our opponent played that really well, so props to them. Negate here is usually pretty solid. Is a Static Caster is really great. Don't want this Collective Brutality. Don't really want these Angers. Do want Damnation. Fulminator Mage. I usually only like it in the blue control matchups to fight. Yeah, Zach, there were way too many souls. I usually only like Fulminator Mage to fight the counterspell wars, to blow people up off of mana. I'm willing to trade, 3 mana spells for a land drop in those matchups, because a lot of it usually will come down to being able to play a spell and hold up to spell, and who sort of times their Ancestral Visions correctly. Given all of that, I like shaving bolts in this matchup. I usually go down to 2. And other than that, Spell Snare is fantastic. Dispel's pretty bad. So this negate is a little awkward because usually I only had 2 cards to bring in and 2 cards to go out. So now we have a 3rd card to go out. I guess we can board out Thought Scours. We don't really want to Thought Scour ourselves super early, but a turn 2 Tasker is really, really powerful on the play. Could board out the Engineered Explosives, but it does have a bunch of utility. Alright, we'll try boarding out the E. We'll see if that's terrible. Might be terrible. People don't usually have choke anymore. Give that a whirl. Yeah, Andy, what the heck? What's up with all these Lingering Souls? Aber, we did not win that game. The 3rd Lingering Souls got us. Owen streams are great. If, I could see someone argue, hey, I'm not a fan of Owen's humor, but Owen is a fantastic person, fantastic streamer, and I would highly, highly, highly recommend his streams. Alright, our hand's pretty soft, but I think it's a keep. I'm going to go and play a Delta here, try to start fetching out lands. Would like to find an Ancestral pretty aggressively. Ooh, a Blooming Marsh. Inquisition. I do think we need to fill up our graveyard here, so I'm going to go ahead and fetch out a Watery Grave and Thought Scour ourselves. Hope we draw Tassiger off this. This would be pretty nice. Milled over a Snapcaster Mage. Not fantastic. The other Snapcaster Mage, later, buddy. Discarded the Izzet-Staticaster. Okay, so that leads me to believe they have a lot of X ones. They might have Dark Confidant. Andy, it was specifically because the matchup that I changed the card out for originally was it was a burn card, and I wanted to be able to cheaply cast the spell that I was changing it out for. And blue and black, while not exceptionally costly, there is a cost to that, and being able to cast two of those, say, in the same turn is somewhat difficult. Alright. They're going to be kind of sad we drew another Snapcaster Mage. So basically the short answer there is the blue-black, while not extremely taxing. I guess Unkove also asked this question. No, it wasn't because I couldn't counter Caught. That was my own issue where I milled myself instead of milling my opponent there. But there is a real cost to the blue-black. I mean, it comes up sometimes in the Blood Moon matchups. It sometimes comes up in the Burn matchup. But just an extra piece where we can not have to deal ourselves some more damage is a little bit nice. As it was originally a burn sideboard card. Visions. So they were trying to protect a noble. Could just immediately fetch up a red-black land tapped. Would I bolt this noble if I had the possibility to do so? I don't know that I would. I don't want to play the Snapcaster Mage, but it's possible I'll need to. Alright, let's go and get a red-black tapped. I'm just going to Serum Visions up right now. I don't want to shock myself because I do believe my life might be relevant here. If I draw a bolt, I don't think I would bolt this. I also only have 2 bolts in the deck and I have 3 Tassigers, so I think it's just correct to hold up Watery Grave. Did draw the Tassiger, that feels pretty great. I do think I'm going to want this terminated at some point during this game, but I don't know if I need it right this second. Having the Tassiger makes it a little less likely to do, so I'm going to bottom both. And we're going to get Tassiger out there, which was pretty great. Snapcaster already has some targets. Yes, no. We'll leave my Snapcaster dangling if I get rid of the Serum, but could leave the Thought Scour. I think it's pretty bad, though. No, I'd rather just leave the Staticaster and the Snapcasters. Snapcaster's gonna be a little bit of a dangle right now in our hand, but it's perfectly fine. Oh yeah, we played perfect math. We had, 2 draws to a Lightning Bolt and 3 draws to a Tassiger, and got right there. I have considered putting Glenn Elendra back in the deck. The reason why I haven't is the fact that she costs 4 mana and is sorcery speed, essentially. Alright. No, I terminate. We just put you on the bottom because we didn't want you. It's not because we don't love you, it's because you were not ready. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and discard this terminate here to this Liliana. Our opponent knows we have a Snapcaster, so I'd be very shocked if they really did anything crazy here on their turn. Hopefully they don't discard a Lingering Soul, so that'd make me a little bit sad. Okay, they discarded a land. But putting this terminate in the yard gives me the opportunity to go snap, terminate the Noble, and attack the Lily. Sort of in, the air quotes worst case scenario, where they just hold up all their mana here, and they're going to path our silly Snapcaster. But at that point, then, on the next turn, we'll probably just fire off our Cryptic to draw a card and protect a card in our hand. Alright, so it looks like our opponent is just... Ooh, they are attacking. That's interesting. Well, a lot of happen. But that's going to prevent them from being able to play spells here post-combat that are creatures. So it's going to have to be a Lingering Souls. But if it's a Lingering Souls, then I get to... I could possibly Cryptic bounce the Lily. I think it's just too terrible. I'll probably just end up Cryptic drawing. Alright, so they get 1 damage in. That's perfectly fine by me. I will snap terminate this Noble, and I expect this Snapcaster to die. Usually the only removal I would leave in from that side of the table is Collective Brutality or Path to Exile, so I'd be surprised if this didn't get me a land drop here on my turn. Drew the bolt. Fair enough. Attack Lily. Oh, it's not getting Path. Cute. Alright, that was I guess it was just a decent attack by them to get 1 point of damage in, but maybe they just have another Liliana in their hand. They just didn't want a Liliana too, but that seems a little weird also. Maybe they thought that their play incentivized. Oh my god, a Stirring Wildwood? That's bad. Can I Terminate back? God, that is horrible. Stirring Wildwood is the hardest of the manlands to kill because it doesn't die to Bolt. So our opponent is just like exceptionally well prepared for Bolt control decks. Oh yeah, Sriracha. That was great. Yeah, I did play Glen Ellender in the past, but it was in a more tap-out style control deck. Like, if we went back to a Jace Vryn's Prodigy style of the deck, you better believe that we're gonna be dusting off some of those Glen Ellendras and putting that sexy card back in our deck, because I am a huge fan. That card is so powerful. Alright, we need to draw the good old turn 8 Ancestral Visions. I'm attacking here because I want to trade my Bolt here for Stirring Wildwood. Don't worry, I'm not just like throwing away cards. I'm going to let the damage happen first, so then we can Bolt their creature. We don't want to Bolt their guy and then have it survive because of a Path to Exile. Alright, got their tricky manland out of there. We did get sort of, 2-for-1 for it, but I think that's fine. Play the Steam Vents out so that we don't have to take damage in case our Cryptic draws us into the last Snapcaster Mage. It's also just nice to apply to all your lands so we can possibly activate Tassigurs multiple times later on. Lingering Souls. Alright, we've reached that part of the game. I'm going to counter draw on this just because we need to keep the threats off the table as long as possible. I want to try to dig into Kolaghan's Command to fight back the flashback version of this later. Polluted Delta's not great. So they're going to shock themselves going to 11 and Lingering Souls it up again. Come on, Kolaghan's Command. Swamp's not good. Let's see, we exiled 3 lands, so 5, and this is 7. Oh no, another Lily. Yeah, sure, it resolves. For some reason I'm not too terrified by that. I don't have a creepy tar pit, but... Okay, so there was another Lily. So maybe my read was right that they were just like rolled up Lilianas. So if I sack this, this puts me down to, this is 10, so they have 5/5, so this delta doesn't change their clock at all. I guess we already have all of our dual lands, so I guess they didn't mean to fetch yet, but... Ancestral, I said I would have taken a turn 8 Ancestral, not a turn 9 Ancestral. You're too late to the party. Alright, so we're going to get clocked here, try to figure out how we can get out of this. It's probably going to involve Kolaghan's Command. Okay, our opponent drew a Lingering Souls. This is going poorly. So now we need to draw a K command so we can K command their draw step and get back our Static Caster and then blow up all their guys. Snapcaster, what do you do, buddy? You allow us to target Cryptic Command and tap their team and then rebound Snapcaster, so... Sort of like stalls the game here for a turn. Squirrel alert. Alright, they played a land. We're going to flash in Snappy because they're going to make us discard here. So we could tap their team and bounce the Liliana. We're certainly getting back Cryptic. Now it's a matter of... The Lily can't ult on the next turn. Do we want to get rid of the Liliana? Do we want another card? So if we are able to find a Kolaghan's Command and then is it Static Caster, it's going to have to be in literally one card because we're going to take a 3-ball spot if we tap their team and bounce from the Stirring Wildwood, and on the next turn we're just dead in the air. So our only out here is to draw Kolaghan's Command. We bottom 2 cards that are not Kolaghan's Command. We're also in a tough spot because of the Liliana. But if we... Sorry, this is a tough spot here. I think the best play is to make them discard Lily. I think we're just going to have to knuckle the top of the deck. Turn target permanent, tap all creatures. Bounce the Liliana. Snapcaster doesn't really have any good targets because we were going over that earlier with our Thought Scour bounce. Yep, chat, you guys are all on it also. Alright. Stirring Wildwood's going to hit us down to 4 here, potentially 1 on the turn after. Here we go. Call Orgon's command. Upkeep. Boom. Alright, that keeps us alive. This is sweet. We got a little bit of sweat here. What could we do with this? We could tap their team, bounce Snapcaster, so that on the turn after we have another tap their team, bounce their Stirring Wildwood. So it's correct for us to hit for 2 here. We're going to go to 1 off the Stirring Wildwood. We're going to tap their team. I guess we could just tap their team, bounce the Stirring Wildwood this coming turn. But then we're in the exact same spot. So it actually just gives us an extra turn to get to the Ancestral Visions to attack this turn, tap their team, bounce our Snapcaster Mage. Sure, we're going to lose to a piece for removal unless we do it upkeep. So we'll do it upkeep. So let's go ahead and attack with Snappy. We're at 6 tier. They're at 9. No, we do have a Bolt here, so we're... Oops. I accidentally thought they were going to draw a step. That was bad. Well, hopefully they don't draw a path. If they draw a path and we die, it's, you know, the end of the world and life sucks and I'm going to hate myself, but... Alright, return target opponent's center's hand. Tap all creatures your opponents control. Bounce Snapcaster. Alright, didn't mean to let them get a draw step, but if they path it, it's fine. We'll end up losing, but... This is a sweet game. Yeah, that's why I think we needed to bounce the Liliana there. Alright, they're animating the Wildwood here, still at the beginning of combat. Tight play on our opponent's behalf. We don't get the Ancestral this turn, we get it next turn. We're locked out of fetch lands now because they're at 1. Need them not have a spell? No, no! Okay, it's just a Fulminator Mage. That's not the end of the world. We can still Snapcaster and Cryptic, so that's good. That's not the end of the world here. Sulfur Falls, not great, but okay. Might as well put the land into play. Here, there's no punishment except for... Yeah, not really. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and upkeep, cast the Snapcaster, and target the Cryptic. This plays around like any weird graveyard shenanigans, like an Extirpate or whatever. Remember, we're going to tap their team here and bounce the Stirring Wildwood. Alright, beginning of combat. Turn target opponent's center's hand. Oh, I guess we're in the same spot where we should have done it to play around a removal spell, because now they can path their Stirring Wildwood. Alright, there was a reason to do it in upkeep. Gotta get better about that. Alright, turn target permanent, tap all creatures. Target that. What's up, Danny? How it goes? We've got an Ancestral coming off suspense, so I'm in a happy mood. Hopefully we don't die this turn, because I made another horrendous error. I'm saying it's horrendous, and it's, like, small, but, I mean, it still feels really bad to make mistakes like this. Like, these are mistakes that you should not be making. Yep, and they figured out the Fulminator Mage. Fair enough, fair enough. We would have to have tapped their team and draw a card. Okay, I just didn't play around the onboard trick. That was stupid. I had to jump with Snapcaster, draw 4. We need to draw a K command and a Cryptic. Yeah, I missed that pulse you. Good call. So Damnation, we still need to have found another out to the creature in play. Serum Visions. Bottom both of those. Thought Scour ourselves. Okay, so I mean, we would have been dead, but making an error still doesn't feel good. Should have tapped their team and drawn. So that actually gives no incentive to changing the timing, except for just the play we made is horrible. Okay. Hey, my opponent found it. I didn't. Props to them. I'm not paying any attention. How were the fights, Sandy? Are they all over now? No spoilers to the people in chat, but were they good? I've seen a number of, like, sweet fights over the day. But I don't think I've seen one now for probably like a year and a half. Thanks, Rossum. Trying to remember. I played against 3 green-black players on day 1. I felt really lucky with my day 1 matchups. I thought I should have done better at that tournament. I was not playing very well. Ugh, this hand's so bad. Alright, this hand just doesn't do anything. I'm gonna mulligan. I would love to. Alright, deck, come on. Stop doing this to me. I love you. You're great. Everything you do is wonderful. Alright, well, this is all I could ask for. That Watery Grave doesn't really matter because I'm just going to fetch out a Watery Grave. Alright, Ancestral's going to have to do a lot of work for us here. Yeah, I mean, I played Red-Green Marvel at GP Denver. I think my matchup against Teamer is slightly bad, but I was sort of trading for percentage points against other decks. But I think at the end of the day, I do agree. I think the Teamer version's the best. No, don't be burned. Basic Mountain Go. I don't like my hand against Basic Mountain Go, I don't think. Unless they're the red-blue deck. If they're the red-blue deck, my hand's so sweet. I don't actually believe that blue-white flash is good against it. Oh, they are to burn deck. They just didn't have anything on turn 1. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Alright, we're gonna go to 15. Kill this horrible Eidolon for us. Oh, I should have remembered this gentleman's... I've probably played against his opponent 10 or 12 times on Magic Online over the last 6 months, and they usually are a burn player. Yeah, it's tough to keep your hand with no turn 1 burn spell unless you have multiple Eidolons. So I would assume the handicap there was like 3 lands, 2 Eidolons, Boros Charm, or Targus Command, maybe? Bolted right now. Fetch up a tap land. Probably getting a Steam Vents in this spot. Let's just verify one more time. Yeah, we're going to get a Steam Vents in case you run under Terminate. Thanks, Andy. That was just an unreal tournament. I still can't believe it. I kind of wish I had played BBD now instead of drawing with him to try to go for the whole 18-0, but I just didn't want him on my side of the bracket. I was just really concerned with, you know, him stealing away the 1 seed potentially, and then me being on the draw in the finals if we had both made the finals. So I ended up taking a much more conservative line in that nature, where I draw myself into the 1st seed, and I thought for sure I was on the side of the bracket with at least 1 or 2 Infect Pilots if they both won. Because I had played against one of them earlier in the day. Oh boy, this is not panning out well. Alright, we're going to tap our black ones, then we leave up Terminate and Bolt. Serum Visions. See what we can find here. Looking for some Counter Squalls. Cryptic Island Tassiger. Alright, deck. Alright, deck. You're trying to help me out. I'll try to do it. Let's think here. If we exile our entire graveyard, we can Thought Scour them, pick up the island immediately, play that as our land for the turn. The next turn, hold up Cryptic Command, have Tassiger on the battlefield with a Lightning Bolt up. That's 4, that's a fetch land, so we're really only 3 combat steps away. I'm going to top both of these, with the island being first. I'm going to go ahead and immediately Thought Scour them. And I'm going to play the basic island this will give us. Timmy, who are you? I feel like I must know who you are. I met a lot of people that weekend. Everyone was exceptionally nice, which, to be fair, most of the Magic community is just exceptionally nice. I think I had slightly subpar draws, but I do believe the matchup's suboptimal. I would choose to not play it. People tried to make absurd statements like my opponent played poorly in the finals, and I don't know, from my perspective, he played better than I did, so he beat the crap out of me in my mind. I thought my opponent played well. I didn't play fantastically. I certainly made a blunder in Game 2. I thought Game 1 I played fine, and things just didn't sort of pan out when we got to the top deck war after he cast his Anger of the Gods. And I mean, shrug your shoulders, that happens sometimes. Like, you get into sweet spots, and, you know, at the end of the day, you can't win every game. Hopefully don't get double Boros Charm too. Our opponent has 5 cards in their hand. I can't imagine winning this game, but we have a Cryptic on top, and we're just going to hope we're going to get there. Shock down to 13. Gonna get a Targus command. Oh, Searing Blazed? Ugh, double Searing Blaze? Really? Come on, don't do it. That was a Boros Charm. No, come on. Not cool. Tassiger, we were trusting you, buddy. Alright, yeah, we're dead. And brutal. Alright, fair enough, fair enough. Round 13. Wait. Round 13. Man, this memory thing sucks. Trying to figure out. Nick D, I played you around 14, that was. Trying to remember which round was 13. You're 13, you're Nathan Smith, but. Alright, guys, so we're fighting the Burn Menace. We don't have any sun droplets, so. Knock on wood, this negating collective brutality are fantastic. Oh, okay. No, I certainly remember you. You were the most negative toward yourself and so positive for me the entire game. It was just too funny sitting on my side of the table. You should have bolted my opponent. Yeah, maybe. Alright, so E is pretty bad here. These Ancestrals aren't great. That's basically the only real thing to talk about. I usually board down to one Ancestral and board out the EE. Other than that, there's no reason to bring in Static Caster. They don't really have one toughness creatures to fight. I think that the one Ancestral is better than the one Fulminator Mage, just because we're trying to make the game go long, and they run fewer lands than us. So that ends up with them drawing more spells. We're not really in the mood to try to fight their lands. We're just trying to fight their burn spells. It's not like if we kill their one Sacred Foundry or whatever, they're never going to find another Sacred Foundry. You're definitely right, Dokomoy. We should have just bolted ourselves. That would have been the play of the week. We'd made it on SportsCenter's top 10. You're great. Yeah, hopefully his corrective brutality is great. It's also just another reason to leave in Ancestral. So Zombie Cat, I think the Imperial Link's really only good against the Eidolon. And I mean, it's really fantastic against Eidolon, and when you get to hit their Eidolon, like, you feel really great. But I feel that you're going to lose a lot of the games, not only to Eidolon, but just all their spells are just really structurally great against your deck. Alright, so this hand, we would end up, unfortunately, in a pretty poor spot. I don't think we can mulligan this hand, though. My plan currently is to play the Steam Vents tap probably on turn 1, with the intention of fetching with the Polluted Delta on turn 2 to get an island to suspend the Ancestral, bolt their creature. Obviously, they have an Eidolon that line's pretty bad, so we may have to reevaluate based on if they have a 1-drop creature or not. Hopefully they don't. Again, I don't think this is a very good hand against Burn, but a hand that I think if you mulligan, you're making a mistake. It's possible we can reevaluate our line based on what they do, and maybe we'll play turn 2 Tar Pit and hold up turn 2 or turn 3 Command. So they are fetching immediately, not great spot for us. Not Quick is my name, or QK is my name. I'm not going to GP Kentucky. Surgical their burns. If only. Alright, so drawing a pair of untapped lands there is actually pretty nice. We will go ahead and play. I'm trying to think if there's any way in which I don't fetch twice this game. Can't really think of a game in which that really occurs right now. So I'm going to go ahead and fetch an island, go to 17. I guess we should just preserve our life total just in case we don't need to fetch. Just play the Sulphur Falls. Suspend the Visions. We have the Delta to go get ourselves a Swamp on the next turn. Given the opportunity, if my opponent wants to Boros Charm to save their Goblin Guide, I'll let them do that. I don't usually see many playing Mutagenic Growths anymore. Oh yeah, Rob cards. I was too terrified. I couldn't take it. It would just hurt too much. Ooh, we revealed another Cryptic Command, so that's really good here. So, I kind of want to just bolt the Monastery Swift Spear, but I don't want to take the extra point of damage. And I think given the liner our opponent took, I don't really think they have an instant speed burn spell, so I'm just going to bolt the Guide right now. It's risky because we might get blown out here in our K command, but I think our opponent's not going to have a land. Yeah, it didn't have a land. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get a Swamp here with this Delta, and we're going to blow a K command right here, shocking and making them discard, so they're going to have to discard a spell, which is also nice. Target them, target their little friend. This is going to drop them to 5 cards and us to 16 life. Corrosive Ultimatum's like, I guess what you said isn't the most ridiculous thing. The problem with it is their spells are so redundant that taking one of the spells out of their deck just isn't a winning line. Like, all their spells sort of do the same thing. Surgical's much better in a spot where you're killing a spell that basically allows a deck to function. And Burn doesn't really function by a matter of one spell. It's not like, say, Ad Nauseam or Escape Shift, that they have to have that exact one card or they're not going to be able to win. It's moreover that all of their spells do the same thing. They just need to draw a critical mass of them. I should have fetched on my turn. Let's fetch now. Let's be less stupid. Don't let my opponent draw a second land, put it into play. If I were going to GP Louisville, I would have played Miracles. I have a bunch of really good friends, D Batterskull in the chat being one of them, that are really, really great Miracles pilots, that I think I would have been able to learn to play Miracles very well. I personally believe it to be the best deck. Oh, you guys were able to hear that Facebook message? I'm sorry, let me close Facebook then. That was really bad. We'll make sure that doesn't happen. I guess I need to click back over here to Moto so my opponent can bash me again, make me feel horrible about myself. Come on, bolt me. Bolt me. Just want to counterbounce your Swiss Spear. It'd be a time walk. Alright, I'll go to 13. It's fine. Ace, it's not as much of a beauty as you'd, I could just meet the tab. You guys are way more high-tech than I am. Yeah, Dokomoy, I usually play fairly quickly in live matches, but like I'm trying to play even faster. I'm trying to figure out if I want to bounce this silly Swiss Spear. I think like trading 4 mana for 1 and then getting bolted in the face down to 10. Ancestral goes to 1. I think it's better if I just hold it up and then go to counter bounce their Swiss Spear on the end step when they play their burn spell. So that's what I'm gonna do. I think getting burn spelled for no reason is just silly. Player land. Look to counterbounce the Swiss Spear this turn, as I just want to kind of set my opponent back on mana, because they're on 1 land. Obviously, if we drew a Fulminator Rage instead of Ancestral, be in a way better spot this game. What's up, Tannen? How it goes, man? So bad at reality. The problem with that is that they're just going to replay the land, and so many of their spells in their deck just cost 1 mana that I don't think you're just going to accomplish as much as you really need to. Ooh, the Black Lightning Bolt today. Counter target spell, return target permanent to owner's hand. Counter Lightning Bolt, bounce Swifty. Also, I mean, I guess the bouncing the land, like, they don't get to idle on me if they draw a land next turn, but I'm also removing the Swiss Spear damage from the board for a turn, so I'd rather just do that. Rudy, do you mind if I hit you up on... Yeah, maybe I can hit you up in the morning. I'm trying to leave my place probably around 12:30 tomorrow to head to Los Angeles. I should just mod you. This is really stupid. But yeah, I'll either hit you up tomorrow morning if you're around, or on New Year's Day. Those were not great draws. Gurgle, Murgle, 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 Murgle. Okay. In a dicey spot here, ladies and gents. We're in a nice spot in the fact that we have a crap load of counter magic. We're in a bad spot in the fact that we have no threats, we have no way to deal with our opponent's threats, and we have 8 lands. Trying to figure out if I want to Thought Scour immediately here. I think I do. I think there's like a really high upside if we draw Tassiger. Watery Grave and milled over another piece of counter magic. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Alright, play the Watery Grave tap because we have an untapped mountain in our hand. We're not going to need 3 red before that long. Yeah, Snare hits Eidolon. Gosh, Curl Ultimatum up here would be so great. Good attack here by our opponent. It's like really tough for us to block or Creeping Tar Pit. Just gonna take it. Puts us down to 11. Like, we're obviously dead if they're able to deploy all the cards in their hand. So we really need to find a way to start clocking them. Okay, Suspended Rift Bolts, another great play by them. Tassiger, hello buddy, how goes? Welcome to the Rock'em Sock'em Boppers League. So it could get Path to Exiled, not great, but perfectly acceptable. We're going to play Steam Vents tapped and use Tassiger here to exile some of the garbage cards here in our graveyard. We can get rid of one of the Cryptics, get rid of all the blue cantrips we don't need, and I like Kolaghan's Command, I like Countersclaw, and I like Lightning Bolt as options to get back into our hand, so we're going to leave all of those. Yeah, Zach, your guess also. Awesome, we'll do. I woke up at 6:45 this morning. I looked at my pool. I can pull up a screenshot, but it might get a little dicey. Let's see if I can pull it up over here. Go to my computer, go to the desktop, because I didn't organize anything in the last 3 days. I can post up a picture here. Maybe I have to... I don't know if I can just post the link straight into Twitch. Maybe I have to post it on Imgur or something. I don't have an Imgur account, but... I will show it to the stream here after the game, but my sealed pool was, like, really bad. I asked some teammates what they would do. Most of them said they would play green blue. I was on green-white originally, so I switched up, presented green-blue game 1, then switched to green-white game 2, and my opponent just beat the crap out of me, so I went back to sleep. It was great. Alright, so now we have to figure out here if we want to counter this Rift Bolt. It's going at our face. I think we do. I think we should again want to counterbalance this Silly Swift Spear. So we're going to go and do counter target spell, return target opponent when it's in its hand, counter Rift Bolt, bounce your Swift Spear. I don't usually have to make this many like hyper defensive plays with my Cryptic where I'm bouncing a creature. Usually I would love to be drawing cards to this match, because I just want to be drawing into Snapcaster Mage and Kolaghan's Command, try to fight through. But again, with them stuck on one land, I think this is a reasonable line to be taking. That like if they have to path this Tassiger here to like avoid getting, you know, critically obliterated, I think we're in a good spot. Alright, so they've determined their Swift Spear is no longer useful. They're going to start burning me. It's a good place for us to be. Drawing lands, not a good place for us to be. So if we play the Mountain, we can animate the Tar Pit, and that leaves us up with 4 lands, so we're going to go ahead and do that. That puts our opponent down to 10. So if we find a Snapcaster or a Bolt, they're going to be dead next turn. Alright. Get in my Elementals and weird human shamans. Add reg squirrel loot. This is cool. I don't know exactly what you're doing over there, but this is sweet stuff. Ooh, liquid metal coating. Who asked about liquid metal coating? Is it Imager? Really? CHMTG, is it really Imager? Oh yeah, I mean, our hand was terrible. Did we go to 5 cards this game? Yeah, the opponent missing every land drop is the only reason this game's still going on. If they had ever played a fetch land to go get a Stomping Ground, I would have just, you know, picked up all of my cards, left the table, shake their hand the match up to a judge, be very sad. I'm going to go ahead and just spend my mana here, Cryptic this, draw some cards. I may as well use my mana here when it's sitting up. Found our Snapcaster Mage. And we're going to end up stealing one that we didn't really deserve here on 5 cards. Thankfully, our opponent was even more screwed than we were. They say screw beats flood, but not always the case. Play Snappy Doo. This is why you leave the Lightning Bolt in your guard, even when it looked bad. And Bolt the Face. Alright, there we go. We got a win. It's really Imager, Ryan. Goodness gracious, I am... Put the Gur in Imgur, baby. Arcbound Worker? Hell yeah. Yeah, Tassiger's a human shaman, Dynamax. So if you're building a shaman deck with, I haven't played against the shamans deck in probably years, but there was like a 2/2 shaman that tapped for 2 mana of any color for shamans, or maybe it's a 2 mana 1/1, or 3 mana 1/1, or she, or it. I don't know what it is. I think it's an it. Later, Sriracha. Thanks for hanging out. Creator of GIF says it's GIF, even though the G is for graphic. I have found Rudy to troll in the past. He's really good at it. But I agree. I don't think this makes any sense whatsoever. Alright, this hand's an easy keep. Again, doesn't have any of our sideboard cards. Unfortunate. Whatever. Our opponent's going to 6. Awesome. But we have a Bolt, we have a Spell Snare, we have a Terminate. Unfortunately, we're going to take a lot of damage from our lands with this hand, but again, you're playing a 3-color control deck in Modern, you're signing up for that. I think if you mulligan a hand like this is certainly a mistake. Oh, we're going to start pronouncing GIF or GIF GRETs? I'm certainly down for that. Yeah, Dynamax, I mean, yes, this is the definition of a snap keep for Grixis control. So, Blange, Blood Moon is really good against us, is the problem I have with playing Blood Moon. But Molten Rain is a card I have played in the past when I was playing Jace Vryn's Prodigy, and I really liked it. The added damage was pretty useful. The instant speed flexibility was pretty nice that you get out of Fulminator Mage, but I think it's just sort of a trade-off that you're asking for. Where is Cough Moon? Thank goodness. I have nightmares. Nightmares about getting coughed into minus, make more mana, play a Blood Moon, make you cry, and it's like, no. Molten Rain's great. Alright, so now we have to figure out, we're at 17. I think we just have to get a Steam Vent, so we're going to 14, and we're leaving 3 sort of dangling removal spells in our hand, and the Spell Snare would be good elsewhere, but otherwise we're going to 12. There's a world where we could fetch a tap Steam Vents at 16, play a Watergrave tap, bolt it down to 14. I wonder if that's actually better. Sounds better. I get to hold my Spell Snare in my hand. Yeah, we're going to do that. We don't delete the Spell Snare up next turn, but I'm not that concerned with it. Also, it allows us to draw like that. That's great. Alright, so here we're going to go ahead and play a Scalding Tarn, I believe. So that would get us a Blood Crypt. We don't need double blue exceptionally badly. Nope, okay. Yep, so we're going to go ahead and bolt this down to 14, hold up Spell Snare. You can make an argument for not bolting this right now, but I'm trying to think that's correct. Like, they're just going to attack, so I just don't think there's any, like, real merit there. I do want to play the Scalding Tarn here in case I need to fetch an island to counter a main phase Boros Term or another Eidolon. Goblin Guy, that's fine. Don't have a Water Grave to fetch up instantly, but perfectly okay with that. I will let my opponent hit me, because I can just fetch a basic if they hit a land I don't want to draw. Or hit a spell I do want to draw. So we're going to 12, we're going to end up going down to 11, so I'm going to Black Source to terminate the silly Goblin Guys. This is going to put us down to 8, essentially. But thankfully we do have a counter in our hand, which is really useful here. So we have to get a Blood Crypt, so it's only Black Source left we can fetch. Play a Scalding Tarn again, so we can leave it Snare, yep. Here, this time we can just pass, because if they want to fight over this with a Boros Charm to save their Goblin Guide, we will absolutely take that, and there's a possibility that we'd like to keep the spell on top. Especially if we're in the world where... Oh, we just drew another card, look at that. That they don't cast a 2-mana spell here in response. Alright, so we can only fetch islands now with a Scalding Tarn, it's perfectly fine, all we wanted were islands. I think that what I would absolutely love them to do is I want them to revise their sort of stance on what Modern is supposed to be and say that turn 3 kills are fine, because there's a bunch of turn 3 kills that kind of already happen. And my personal preference is I would ban probably Become Immense, unfortunately, but... And then the other card I would consider is either Golgari Grave Troll or Prized Amalgam, or basically the short ends of it. I think also just saying everything is perfectly fine as it is acceptable in my manner, but I'm also somebody that's sort of in a spot of privilege where I have a deck I really like and I think is really good in the metagame. So I empathize with the people that just sit there and are like, this is stupid, this guy is falling, this format's out of control, people are dying on turn 2 sometimes. I think if you wanted to make a much more drastic change to it, I would ban like 8th, 9th edition, all Phyrexian mana cards, become immense. Basically just make like these radical changes that are pretty crazy. Alright, how bad is this going to get us? If I let this resolve, how dicey of a spot am I putting myself in? This makes my Snapcasters live. I also just don't even want to crack this fetch now. If I don't have to, but I have to if I want to terminate this turn. That's the sort of thing with just saying all the Phyrexian mana cards. I don't think... Most of them are just not even problems. It's just sort of the concept of free spells is the problem. Alright, so let's try to figure this out. What do we think our opponent's hand is? If they're firing off a 2-mana spell here, it means they're very likely to have both another instant and or another 2-mana spell in their hand currently. They should also be leading on their one with which is the worst of the 2-mana spells, which Atarka's Command is sort of similar in the vein to Skullcrack or Lightning Helix, where it just doesn't do that much. So in theory, we could let this resolve. That puts us to 5, but then we're in a spot where we just can't even cast our Thought Scours. They could have a land in their hand. They could have Path to Exile. Oh, Mox Opal was the other one I remember saying I would ban. Sorry, I forgot about that one. Back on that sort of question. Shieldbot, I'm a sick human. I mean, that's just independent. Chrome Mox is certainly a busted card. Fast Mana is busted. I think it's a noble goal to make the cards and hope that people aren't going to do horrible things with them. But if you unban that card, people are going to do horrible things with it. You're not going to be happy with the end output, but people are going to want to put in, their cool Thirst for Knowledge control decks, and I wish there were more of those running around. I think those decks are super sweet. Like, I would love to play a Tezzeret control deck or mid-range deck. I'm trying to just... Yeah, so Coolest of All Mediums, the only thing there is I'm trying to figure out if there's any way I can get away with never cracking the Scalding Tarn, because I'm right now at 8. This puts me to 5, so there's no one burn spell deals 5. Alright, I'm going to get myself into a dicey spot here. I'm just not going to stop it. I'm going to go to 5. This makes my Terminate live. I'm basically plastering the Spell Snare to counter whatever the next 2-mana spell is. Obviously, I'm going to die if their last 2 cards are like Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, and it's going to be a horrendous play, and usually you're supposed to just counter the first thing. But I think I'd rather get into a spot where I never have to crack this Scalding Tarn. Alright, Lava Spike, Lava Spike. So we have to now Thought Scour into a Counter Squall. So we have to fetch an island. Oh, I guess we have a negate too. Lucky. Alright, deck. Alright, fair enough. Should have countered it, I guess. I wanted to put myself in a dicier spot because I thought we were going to be privileged enough to not have to sack the fetch land there. I'm trying to think if there was a spot where we could have figured out that they had another Lava Spike. No, it's also just the Grixis from the going for a mana. Yeah, I probably should have just countered, but shrug, whatever. Theoretic has a modern format. I'll let other people answer, and I'll answer that ever. I've already shared my thoughts with people who listen to any of the sweet podcasts I've been a part of. Yeah, Rudy, I think that you could... I mean, I already hate Dried Arbor because of the stupid forest issue, where it literally looks like a silly forest. I dislike the homogenization of deck building with Green Sun, but I don't know if it would start that way. I think if it got to the point where people just always played the exact same list, sort of like Pod got to eventually at that point, I'd want to get rid of it, but... Alright, here we go. We got a turn 1 Ancestral, turn 2 Serum Visions. We're on the draw. Hopefully things get better. Noble or Reno. Alright, given they played a Noble on turn 1, they're likely Infect. Given that we think that we're likely Infect, we actually don't want to play our Ancestral here on turn 1, as that just gives our opponent incentive to go for it. We actually just need to try to find answers to their nonsense that they're going to do to us here. So I'm going to Serum Visions, try to find a Bolt. That's a Terminate. Terminate's great. We actually need to keep the Scalding Tarn on top so we can even cast these things. That's awkward. So now we're probably in a spot where we're just going to have to EE for 2. Really weird. Okay, so we have to put the Terminate second and the Tarn first. So that on turn 3 we could Explosive / K command. So we'll do that. Later, Squirrel Loot. Thanks for hanging out, man. No, Klapstein. We failed to beat the Burn Menace. I decided to not counter the... Oh, F me, they're Stompy. Well, this matchup's horrendous. This is Hexproof Eagle over Forest, yeah. Yeah, this matchup's good. Oh, wait, that's not good. That's the definition of bad. Waffles. I mean, I think I would like if they added some of the legacy cards to Modern, like add Baleful Strix, add Containment Priest. They added, I mean, Scavenging Ooze I think was a legacy card first, and then they added it to the standard product. Yeah, Council's Judgment. That one's close to me. I think it'd be fine with Council Judgment allowed. Later, Adam. Thanks for hanging out. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and play this Ancestral. I don't think we need to play this E for 1. I think we're just going to get beat to crap out of these Dungrove Elders. Hopefully they have a second and we can just play E for 3 next turn. I do want to draw that Terminate because they do end up playing like Leatherback Baloth, and they're just ginormous monsters from hell that are going to eat our soul. So we're going to probably end up playing this E on 3, cracking it on the same turn we play Terminate. Oh, dear Christ. Come on. Come on, that's not cool. That's really not okay. You know, in most countries, what they just did is illegal. That is really not okay. We're having a perfectly fun game of Magic, and then somebody came around and wanted to blow up the other person's lands. Alright, well, we're probably going to be dead, because they're attacking for 6 this turn, and then 45 the next turn, and... Sword of Fire and Ice. Jeepers. Alright, yeah, we're done here. And I guess we can flash in a Snapcaster Mage this turn. Let's see, they hit us for 8. We have to fetch down. We go to 4 on our turn. We have to Kolaghan's Command, Shatter and Shock the Noble. We chump block. Alright, we're not going to give up, but this is beyond dire. It's beyond the point of dire. 8, blast me in the face down to 5. It is 2 damage, right? It's shock and draw. Yep, okay. And I guess I shouldn't know this. I had to play against this the limited GP. It was not fun. The card was very powerful there. Okay, so I have to fetch a basic mountain too. 4, at least my fetch land's live, so I go to 1. You have to fetch a basic mountain even, and still peel the black source. Alright, this is probably like really doable. So we don't even have to fetch now, we just draw. Oh, I needed to fetch, that was stupid. Alright, well we drew the Steam Vents. Alright, I'm just not paying any attention right now, that was really stupid. Yeah, don't worry, this matchup gets a lot better once you board in a bunch of nonsense. Yeah, our opponent was just like knew that they were going to play against us, and they're like, oh, look at this. Hexproof monsters. They'll love this. Whoa, Sedecr Cedicrim? Goodness gracious. My reading comprehension's got to improve. Hopefully by streaming, I learn how to read. That's what we're going to hope from this. Alright, so Spell Snare against their deck. I have no idea what it would do. I guess they could play Strangleroot Geist, Burning Tree Emissary. Anybody think of any other sweet, like, 2-mana green devotion creatures? I need the opponent's list, therefore we have to board in Surgicals. Oh my goodness. Please board in Surgical? Are you kidding? You guys are crazy. I love y'all, but y'all crazy. Alright, these counter spells look like they're just just truly horrendous. They've got to be worse than the spell snares. So we want those out first. We definitely want the damnation and the EE. The bolts probably are going to have to be great. Well, maybe not great. They are just giant green monsters. Static Caster. Would Static Caster end up being good here? Yeah, I don't really know either. Like, seeing that acid thing makes me want to bring in Negate. Yeah, Surgical no longer shows sideboard. All the fun play batters of Hexproof and Land Destruction. Yeah, Ryan, you know what's up, man. Anger's, like, not horrendous. Again, if they're more sort of the beatdowny version, like, the reason why I'm sort of thrown off here is I don't know what the Acid Moss is doing in their deck. Alright, we're definitely going to bring in the gate. We're going to submit our deck before 11 seconds this time. I'm going to play an Anger over Snare. And an Anger over a Thought Scour, I think. We're going to try this for this go-round. If we see sweet 2-mana cards that we need to stop, then we'll... Oh, I guess I should have laid the Counter Squalls in. That was really stupid. I don't know why I just took the Counter Squalls out when we were just talking about Acid Moss. That was stupid. Whatever. We'll just Cryptic the crap out of our opponent. Do we think Thorn would be playable in Modern? What is Thorn? Like Thorn of Amethyst? Or is that its name is? The one that makes non-creature spells cost 1 more? Maybe? I don't know, like, I don't think the card would be very good. Alright, this hand sucks. I'm gonna throw that back. This hand's much better. Alright, they also went to 6. The Boggles matchup's actually not as bad as you think it is. Like, we have 4 Cryptics, 3 sort of Wrath effects between the 2 Angers and the 1 Damnation. I actually think the matchup's, like, very close. I'm gonna put this Tar Pit on the top, I believe. Yep, I'm gonna put Tar Pit on top. It's gonna cause me to still probably play Delta. My opponent top? My opponent topped. I kind of just want to mill them immediately. Because I really want that Tar Pit. Alright, screw it. We've reached the point of the stream where we're milling our opponents. Sakura Tribelder. Holy crap. Alright, I have no idea what they're doing. We want our Spell Snares back. We want our Counter Squalls back. I'm feeling very sheepish. I don't know what's going on anymore. Player Delta here so I could possibly bolt. Depending on what happens, we'll figure out what we need to do in the next couple turns here. Noble. Noble's fine. Noble, I'm going to go ahead and fetch a Steam Vents for, and we're going to bolt it immediately so that we can get a Cryptic up on 4 rather than a K command on 3. It sort of like strangles our mana a little bit, but I'm fine doing it as I don't think our opponent's deck is particularly, I guess, functional without their sort of powerful spells. That I'd rather let them play the lands and get their lands out of their hand. Oh, Vines of Astwood? Okay, well then... Fine, we won't Cryptic you next turn. We'll just kill your guy. If that guy's really valuable to you, we'll fight about it. So yeah, this is really weird. Like, I just don't know really what's going on with their deck, because they're like now a mixture between what is usually the green Stompy deck with Vines of Vastwood and some beatdown like Dungrove Elder type creatures. But then they also have just like this weird land destruction plan. See, there's an acidic slime. Like, who knows what's going on? Hey Corey, do you have the best budget replacements are for Ancestral? Hey, Flying Shy Guy, I think that if you don't have Ancestrals, if you can get Jace Friend's Prodigies, I don't think they're sort of doing the same role, but you might be able to build the deck in a different fashion and get some utility out of those there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and suspend Ancestral and get ourselves a giant monster onto the battlefield. Unfortunately, our opponent's 3 creatures, so they're going to be able to, you know, build the Skoos out of range if they have another forest on their next turn. But... worst comes to worst, we can just Cryptic Bounce and draw a card. Tribal Ooze deck. Yep, welcome to the we can't win a match on stream bracket. Definitely not blocking it. If our opponent wants to hit us for 5, they can hit us for 5. Mono green, land destruction instead of red green, that's what they're on. Yeah, Zach, that's the thing I don't get either. Like, what just Aberrant just asked, why would they play Vines in their deck? Yeah, Dirty Mom Spaghetti, I agree. Their deck's a little all over the place, but hey, props to them for thinking up something new. A fan for getting outside of the box. Alright, I'm gonna bash here. I'll end up taking 5. I don't expect a mono green deck to be able to, kill me out of nowhere, so I'll take a 5-ball from their ooze again. That way, if they play a spell, I can counterbalance their ooze. And then that'll also allow me to start hopefully buying this back. Alright, Dungar Velder, get the heck out of my game. Counter target spell, return target permanent. Get Uzi out of there. So we can start drawing cards now. They're Tassiger. We sort of controlled the board of all the green fatties. We have the biggest fatting on the table because black creatures are just ginormous and great when they cost 6 mana and they have Delve. Opponent was not pleased about that. I mean, they were very nice about it. They did say nice, but I would guess that they're not super stoked that that's the outcome there. Alright, Engineered Explosives. Now, I expect this card to be bad in the matchup, so this will be the card we'll end up boarding out. I'm trying to think if we want to task our main phase. We task our main phase into another Ancestral or an... Nope, not an A, Serum Visions or Thought Scour. We want to cast it, so let's go ahead and task our main phase. Again, I don't expect one of these decks to get a aggressive creature out on me, under me, like a haste creature, but... Holy goodness, Frontier format boosted Jason to $45? Okay, I need to go get my Jaces out of wherever the heck they're at. That's great, but what in the world? Fortunately, milled over that other EE, opponent immediately gave it to us. They're very smart. Yeah, they could have Strangleroot Geist. That was what we were talking about earlier. But I would be very shocked if we got Strangleroot Geist after they discarded Acidic Slime or whatever. But I've made stupider comments before. Like, I'll probably make a comment here about tapping my mana wrong and play an EE for 2 mana, it'll be for 1. Alright, we're going to go ahead and correctly EE for 2. X is currently 2. Okay. Hopefully I played the one that I showed them. I wasn't paying attention. I just realized I have different arts on these. I borrowed one of these EEs because they're like 50 tickets or something horrendous. I just didn't want to buy it. Yeah, CHMTG. I don't remember which one they gave me. I wasn't paying any attention. I was having too much fun looking over at chat when they gave me back an EE, and I was so sad. Alright, you can eat my anger. That is perfectly fine. I don't want that anger back, but you don't want that anger there. So what information does that give us that they don't want the anger there? They have another Dungar Velder? They have a wide array of creatures. Maybe they do have a Strangleroot, guys. Maybe you guys are right. I'm fine with them killing that. It eliminates options for them. So at the end of the day, like, I'll even let them on top of the Scavenging Ooze if that means that they will spend mana on their turn to eat the graveyard, where I have a Bolt in my hand, I have a Creeping Tar Pit in play, I've got a Tassiger. Like, we've got all these great things going on. Alright, let's leave up the Lightning Bolt. Crack this. Maybe there's some green indestructible spell I'm going to lose to. I actually want to hold on to the Bolt here because I'm very close to killing my opponent. It's unlikely, but like if I draw a Snapcaster Mage, like, we're getting to a spot where, sure, the clock looks like it's 2 turns, but it's very unlikely that I'm able to just tap my Creeping Tar Pit immediately. So that one, they can also get to a 4/4. Could bolt that one. And then hit them for 7, but they're going to be at 12, so it's not that great. So again, we're just going to untap. Draw a million billion cards of the Ancestral Visions. In comparison to Modern, Frontier is cheap in terms of top tier for the most part, in comparable standard. That makes sense. Like, if you've been playing Magic for 4 years and you've really been holding on to all the cards, then yeah, Frontier's going to be a great format for you. I don't know if the majority of people do that, though, but I definitely am on the outside looking in on that. In terms of what, like, your sort of normal Magic player does in terms of buying cards. I just buy a case every set because I get it very cheaply through REW Hobbies because they cut me a sweet deal for Pam being awesome. Shoutouts to Pam Willoughby again at REW Hobbies. So I just get a case of every set and basically just have to buy a couple mythic rares that I don't end up opening enough copies of. I don't think my opponent has Withstand in their land destruction deck. I'd be exceptionally surprised. Cool, I got them to block. That's good by me. Sure, you can eat my Cryptic. I didn't want it anyways. Alright, I want to activate this task here. Not particularly, so I don't want another Ancestral. Alright, suspend another Ancestral Visions. Would you like to blow up my land? What in goodness gracious is this? Holy moly. Alright, now I feel really stupid for trying to get them to chump block with their Scavenging Ooze. Okay, fair enough. Never seen that card in my life. What's that where the beacon's from? Let's kill one of these, I think. No, let's actually hold on to this. Yeah, let's hold on to that. Play Tamp Steam Vents. Alright, I guess we're back on defense now. Not a great spot to be in. Seeing as I'm reading my opponent's cards as they play them. Fire up the Tar Pit. Block two of these things. Hopefully I don't have double Vines of Vastwood. It is very possible we are dying this turn, and I would not have guessed that. Alright, so we go to 3. Maybe there's some sweet green burn spell I haven't seen too. I've seen Ghostfire before. Destroy target land, you go to Forest. Do I care about that? I mean, I'm sad. I'm surprised I didn't this pre-combat, but... Nope, that's fine. That is fine. Ooh, a negate. This gives us even more of an incentive to just hold up this bolt. Again, we just want to sit here because we have Ancestral coming off suspend. I'd rather just not make a move and make my opponent have to try to go for a victory. I guess playing this E was like really horrendous then, the way we did it. Yeah, Ryan, I don't even know what these cards are doing. What do they target this time? Target a Steam Vents, and they're getting another Forest? That's fine. I will float a blue. I don't know what my opponent's going to do with all this mana. They're probably going to do something like cast a Hornet Queen or something great. I'm just going to die to a Hornet Queen, but... I don't feel like negating that is going to, you know, sort of cost us at this point. Alright, I will open myself up to getting my Tasker dismembered. Hopefully they just give me another Ancestral Visions here. Oh, they're giving me Serum Visions? No, I will actually take the Ancestral. I believe the game will go like 10 more turns. Again, no reason to cast my Bolt, so just hold on to it. Oh, Snappy, you don't mind. You don't mind showing up. Welcome, friend. Alright, we'll play our Scalding turn. I guess we could fetch and go to 2? Like, I don't even know what's going on here. Yeah, we're just going to hold it up for now. Again, no reason to attack. We have an Ancestral coming off to suspend. This is a competitive league, Ben. I play against a lot of really weird decks when I play later at night. I would assume that you usually run into weird decks also. I find that sort of Fire and Ice. That doesn't do anything, right? Red and blue protection. I have a black creature on the battlefield. So I would not be able to bolt their creature. I guess is what that currently does. So in the world I block, they Vines of Vastwood. I can... Ugh, I don't want to counter this. I just feel so dumb if I counter this. I feel like I'm letting them win by countering this. Whatever, I'm going to counter it. Whatever. I'm bad, you got me to counter a sword. Surgical extraction targeting creeping tar pit. What in the world is going on? Sure, if you want to look at my deck list, you can look at my deck list. If anyone in the chat knows what's going on in this game, please let me know. I legitimately believe my opponent has given up, and they just want to see what deck I submitted. Of which I'm about to change so many cards because I just learned so much about my opponent's deck. Yeah, Zach, he got exactly what he wanted. Except for they're looking at our deck list instead of us looking at theirs. Press from Team KK, I highly doubt they're ghosting. They wouldn't have boarded a surgical extraction except for to troll us. 4 Snapcaster, 3 Banana, 2 Kamagami no Akari? Oh, I don't know what that is. 3 Colonons Command. I wish I could just post my deck list in the little chat box there as a picture for them. And I'm like, here you go. Here's my 75. Here are all the cards I have access to. Oh yeah, no, Andrew Burke. This guy's great. 1 Damnation. I think I only submitted 1 Anger, too. So they're only going to see 1 Anger. Of course, we're probably taking that Anger out. I don't know. Not bananas. Like, into my GP top 8 list? I mean, that wouldn't be that far off. But then I'd be lying to my opponent. There's just no reason. I was snipping half. Oh, no. No, I'm not signing out my bananas. Okay, they were conceding. Fair enough. I don't really understand what was going on. GG, nice deck. Thanks. I like it a lot. I'm sorry, it's taking me too long to type other cards. CHNCG, I really hope this is the year you're just trolling literally every single person in the chat, 'cause that'd just be too amusing to me. Alright, so these spell snares actually look pretty decent. Our opponent showed us Sakura Tribe Elder and Scavenging Ooze. They're probably not fantastic, but they're probably at least, like, presentable. You're right, we could in fact board in Surgical and do it back to our opponent. Goodness gracious. So are these EEs good? Are they bad? Is a Staticaster good or bad? Like, our opponent had Beacon. I feel like I'd rather present Wrath of Gods against Beacon. I don't think I want these EEs. I don't really know what they're doing with all the mana yet. I feel like I want these Counter Squalls and the Spell Snares. Green... What does Green Honden do, Zach? AJ Shadowhawk, it's awesome. We're trying out a list right now without Sun Droplets, so don't hate me for that. Don't worry, CHMGG, we're taking out EEs. Why are we worrying about those cards when we have Surgicals to buy? You guys are so silly. Well, we have EE for Dungrove. Yeah, like, EE was originally there for Dungrove. Like, maybe we don't want the Angers, maybe we want the EEs instead of the Angers. Like, yeah, we can do that. That's probably better. Killing silly hexproof creatures. Do you want these silly spell snares? I just don't know what my opponent's doing with their 2-mana cards. Like, I haven't found any good targets for my Terminates, other than the Scavenging Ooze so far. It makes a 1/1 every turn. Ugh. Really the point in our life we're going to board into Staticaster, kill a bunch of 1/1s? I mean, I do that for Lingering Souls, so I guess that's because they're terrifying. I already boarded out 1 Thought Scour. I don't want to board another Thought Scour. Probably should have just clicked back my starting 60. Alright, whatever. We'll try and take out the negate. We'll just play like this, see what happens. Bring in a spell for Surgical. The opponent's deck, yeah, the only reason we won is they conceded. You guys are all great. I hope every stream is just the entire chat trolling me. Yes, guys, I legitimately think that Staticaster has, like, some reasonable spots. Like, if they have more beacons... I hit some mid-deck, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, sounds fine. Not great. Like, kills Beacon. If they do have this green Honden thing people are talking about, it kills that. Apparently they have Birds of Paradise also in their deck, so... Alright, let's go to 18. We'll bolt the birdie. It's very pretty, birdie. You're too scary. Alright, want to fetch a basic island, or do you want to get a steam vents or a water grave? Probably just get a water grave, as we have a terminate. Taking more damage is a little scary, as who knows what kind of draw they're going to get. Maybe they'll land destruction us, maybe they'll... I don't even know. Who knows what's happening. Alright, Creeping Tar Pit and Ancestral. I think given that, we will top both of these and put the Ancestral first. We'll play a tap land on the next turn. Potentially E for 3 if we need to. I like the Tar Pit, though. I do want the Ancestral because I expect these games to go super long and super grindy. Here comes Dungrove Elder. Hand accident, LOL. What does that mean? Does that mean I kept my hand by accident? This sucks, LOL. If that's the case, that's not going to be a fun game then. Alright, whatever. Play Ancestral, play our tapped Water Grave. Our opponent might blow up our Blood Crypt. We wouldn't have any red. Shrugs. Whatever. They do. Float a red. A-okay with that. A-okay with that. We have enough stuff here to find lands. We'll be okay. Do you want to mill over a Creeping Tar Pit? No, we'd rather just draw it still. We can go ahead and Thought Scour ourselves right now. I think this is better than Snap Serum Visions, but I could be wrong. So let's actually think about it for a second. I guess we can't snap the Serum Visions to a tap land. Do-do-da, we figured it out. Alright, milled over our Damnation. It's a little scary that I might just get exiled now, but... the phrase, I think I'll opponent, is out of the question. Alright, another land gets eated. Gets eated by the slimes. Alright, we got all of the Gabby's favorite Ambush Vipers in the world now. I don't want to Ambush Viper this, but I might. So many Snapcasters. Yeah, Noble's fine. I can't Ambush Viper your friend anymore, though. Don't want to spend my mana, though. I kind of want to spend my mana. I'll probably just end up spending the mana to get a Snapcaster out there. Hopefully I don't get oozed again. Rough beats, rough beats. Okay. We're getting blasted. Should have kept hand with more lands. What was I doing? What was I doing? Could E for 1 here to try to kill this Noble Hierarch if I don't have another land, but I'm just Ancestraling next turn. Yeah, there's pass. Probably should have attacked there, but... Big deal. We go to 9 here. Waiting for the Resto Blink off the Noble Hierarch splash. That'd be so fantastic. Alright, well, we're going to need this to find us probably, you know, Scalding Tarn, a mountain, Sulphur Falls. That's great. Alright, there we go. We found a bunch of Landos. Bunch of Landos. I think I'm still at the point where I don't really want to attack Snapcaster. I should have attacked last turn, of course. I am going to probably end up burning this Lightning Bolt on this Slimo. That's going to put us down to 8 cards, and we'll probably have to play the E for 0 or discard a card. I think I need the E in my hand in case my opponent draws a Dungrove Elders. We're so far away from doing anything else. Yeah, so I think my line here is I'm just gonna probably kill the slime so that they draw another noble. Alright, start placing this because I don't want to thin more lands out of it. I could rather draw them. Could just terminate, but again, I'd rather hold that in front of their big creature, but then it's less mana efficient later on. They've got to have a big creature in their deck, right? Other than the giant hexproof monster. Did I just leave his terminates in for nothing? Yeah, they're playing Dungrove Elder, Danny. We got face smashed by it. Yeah, you need E for Dungrove Elder. You want to hold up removal. I don't want to discard multiple cards. I'd rather if they Vines of Vastwood, pop their Vines of Vastwood right now. Yeah. Alright, I think I'm gonna bolt the Noble. I'm gonna go ahead and what am I gonna discard here? I need the polluted Delta because that gets me another black source. So it's actually... Oh wow, is this all my black duels? It is all my black duels. This is actually just going to be discard the Bloodstained Mire. This might be less mana efficient, but my plan is to start like K-Command looping. Oh dear lord. Alright, well, good thing we held on to the Terminate. I did finally figure out that there was stuff to terminate. So that thing's going to eat a massive number of spells. What is a Panglacial Worm? A 9/5 trample while searching your library. You can cast it from... How does it even function within the rules? Who allowed that card to go to print? That person is a crazy person. Alright, we're going to fetch up our basic here and then suspend our visions. That'll force our opponent to do whatever crazy nonsense they're going to do with their ooze. But then we can start looping K commands on the next turn. And hopefully close this game out, because this game has been really funny. Yeah, I'll auto-yield to your silly Scavenging Ooze. Do whatever you want. I should have auto-yielded my Terminate, too. Oh, I can't auto-yield to Terminate? Come on. Come on, Moto. I don't want to click F2 every single time. This is what I get for having 5 million stops. The time where you do actually want your 5 million stops and just, like, getting punished for it. Are they just eating every spell out of my graveyard? I guess that's fine. That's probably correct. Rather leave the potential for the ooze to get huge next time. That makes sense. That's smart. Played a lot during Cold Snap. It happens like Ripple. I don't even know what Ripple is. These are all things before my time. I didn't start playing till Zendikar. I'm a youngin'. Opponent already has a card in hand. It's not fantastic for us. Just plays tap Steam Vents. Just don't think there's any, like... I mean, I guess there's, like, some desire. I would need to, like, Snapcaster plus terminate this turn. Holy cannolis, that thing's huge. Alright, so while it's on the stack, we're going to go ahead and make them discard and we'll shock them. This way we can E for 3 and kill the 5,000, 5,000. Okay, they have Vines of Vastwood, fair enough. So this one can get the basic island. Blue, red, black. Whoever suggested hold on to your E for 3 because you can't beat a 50-50. You guys all win the game of the day, which is don't die to a 50-50. We didn't die to a 50-50 that turn. Yeah, 10-10 hexproof, your turn. No big deal. Hello, Slime Ball. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and... I think we're going to start thought scanning our opponent because we're so light on lands, we don't want to mill over important lands. And we're just going to go ahead and Kolaghan's Command draw step our opponent here. Sure, if they draw Vines, we're going to go to 1, but it's not the biggest thing in the world to me. Tassiger I do like, but I don't want to deploy it yet. We milled over Sword and Fire and Ice, which is a card we would have rather than discard and draw step. So we're drawing a bunch of cards next turn, we go to their draw step. We choose them to discard, and we'll shock their little friend. Hit F6, hopefully they don't have Vines of Vastwood. They're looking at their hands, so that's good. Ooh, we got another 10-10. Look at that. Busted. Alright, probably in a pretty good spot now. Let's go ahead and fetch an island. So we're gonna... trying to figure out if we want to Snapcaster K command this turn and start turning the corner. the discard route, or can we just actually get Tasker out this turn? I prefer to give them one draw step now and have more time to react to it. So I'm going to go ahead and Serum Visions right now. Found a Terminate. Keep that, I think. Because this will deal with Scavenging Ooze in case, because I believe that's the worst Nightmare card at this point. Yeah, we'll do that. Play Tassiger, eating a bunch of these nonsensical spells we don't want. Like our blue cantrips, just leave our red removal base and the EE. Pass back to our opponent. I like Serum Vision in there because I just didn't think that we really needed to hold up the mana. Alright, that's a Sakura Tribolter, I don't really care. We'll draw a Terminate, let's play a turn. Opponent's at 19 or 6 because we missed a 2-point attack earlier on. Oh yeah, it's time to Snap Bolt Snap. MTG Bots on it. Snap Bolt Snaps, my favorite. Alright, go into their turn. Don't have anything to buy back just yet, so we will Snapcaster. K command. I think we're gonna shock them and make them discard. Perfect control. Very, very good. Okay, fair enough. Thank you, I guess. Could kill our Sakura Tribolter. Maybe that's better. Alright, fine. Make you sack your silly Alder so I don't trade my Snapcaster Mage for it. Fine, opponent. You win. I'll shock your silly creature. Whoa, Vape Lord, come on, man. What's going on there? What are you doing? Yeah, no, Danny, I say the clock. I'm not that concerned. My opponent's pretty locked out of the game at this point. Like, they're going to take 6 this turn, and then... Just a minute. Sure. I'm going to F6, and I'm ready to attack. Time Cancer. I mean, yeah, we're very slow because we're trying to hang out with the chat here and I'm starting to learn. Come on, mods. Alright, Vape Lord, don't do stuff like that. You can come back in 600 seconds, but that's not okay. All they need is Gaia's Revenge? Does Gaia's Revenge have Trample? I thought it was just an 8/5 haste that couldn't be countered and can't be targeted. I think it's card Gaia's Revenge. 8/5 can't be countered, haste, can't be targeted non-green spells or abilities from non-green sources. Okay, so I was close. Yeah, we can block it with Snappy Dew. Worst comes to worst, we can also just delve a bunch of our graveyard and basically give our Tasker Vigilance. This has been your favorite game in 4 weeks? I mean, we did have one land in play on turn 7 or something silly. Sulkai control, Sultai Charm killing guys. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. You can actually do that. I didn't think about that. That's great. Alright, attack our opponent. Opponent's in the same spot. Flash and Snappy Dew. Pew pew, laser beams. I'm glad this has been entertaining. At the very minimum, I'm glad it's been entertaining. I will not even try to claim that we played anywhere near close to where we should have played, but I'm glad we got the outcome we wanted, I guess. Perfect move. I enjoy control. See you. I don't know if my opponent's like trying to be sarcastic and like rude about it, or if they're... I don't know. I don't want to say anything. I could say take it easy, because I actually do feel like they were trying to be genuine, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. Who did this? Oh my god. I should have guessed it was Luis. I'm pretty sure it's where I got that stupid saying from. I say it a lot now. It's bad. Yeah, Rudy, I honestly do believe they were trying to be nice. That's very possible. They could have... I didn't want to say that. Cedacream, I think is how you say your name. Cedacream? Cedacream? But... Yeah, I do believe that they were being genuinely nice about it. Like Captain Falcon. Do they yell Falco Punch every time they attack with the 10-10 hexproof? Well, Rudy, like, if they were being rude about it, I didn't want to GG them and, like, then have them blow up. Like, that's just not worth it. But, again, I do believe they are trying to be genuine. Yeah, I mean, every one of the Japanese players I've ever played has always been super nice to me. It was a bad G without the B. Alright, let's try a 3-2 like we did last night. I ended up 3-2ing earlier when I was trying to get stuff going again earlier, but... Get our head screwed on straight here. Let's try to win some matches. Hopefully get against Bantal Drazi or some sweet deck. Like, we lost to Abzan earlier. We suck. We need to get it together. His hand's poor, but I think we're going to keep it. Lead on turn 1 Tar Pit, turn 2 Counter Squall, hopefully is good. And then we have a bunch of cantrips to try to get us to our mana and actually keep us in the game. Ooh, Scalding Tarn. This is going to be fun. Ah, oh, crap. Alright, well, it's going to throw off our mana base a bit here, but I think it's too bad, especially against another Scalding Tarn deck, even if they are the red-blue deck, to not get our cantrip on suspend here. Like, if they're the Killing Fiend deck, they might just end up killing us, but such is life. Some people call it Bant unplayable. I disagree. I think that the deck's perfectly fine. I mean, it consistently puts up great results. It cannot be unplayable. Thing in the ice. Yep-aroo. I like my opponent's deck already. I think we should always just be on the team of my opponent, because my opponent's decks have been sweeter than mine a lot tonight. Cryptic, you're a great card, but I don't think we want you right now. We did find a Terminate, so... Bottom, we gotta figure if we want a Tar Pit here. I think I'd rather Tar Pit and just see what we draw, let our mana develop a little bit more. Obviously, we need to find a red source, and that's where we're going to try to use our Serum Vision and Thought Scour to find us, but we're at a point where I'd rather have 3 mana open on the next turn. Another Thing in the Ice? That's probably not a great draw for my opponent. Alright, so they're going to try to float a bunch of things in the ices. It's a horror on both sides, I would assume. Yep, okay. Oh, is this taking turns? There you go, I had no idea. There's a red source, there we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and I'm trying to figure out if we want to blow up one of these things in the ice now. I have no idea if I could place counter spells or what the heck's going on with it. I think I'd rather figure out what's on the other side of the mountain. So it's Serum Visions. Find another island, find a Cryptic. This time we do want the Cryptic. Don't think we need this Thought Scour. We'll take our Cryptic. Let's go ahead and terminate while they're tapped out. Not too concerned with, like, crazy nonsense happening. Like, if they spend a bunch of spells to flip their thing on the ice and hit us for some damage, you know, thumbs up, we'll just bounce their thing, and they can try to, you know, re-go at it with all their cantrips. Yeah, I don't know what they are. I thought they were the blue-red Kiln Fiend deck at the beginning. Maybe they still are. Hit me for 1, okay. Got Ancestral coming off suspend on the following turn. So we got 5 cards in our hand, so we're going to want to spend a card. We definitely don't want to spend any mana this time because they can, you know, pump up their Spear and save it and start flipping the thing in the ice more aggressively. So we just want to kind of pass the turn right here. We'll fire off some spells on their end step though. Alright, Serum Visions is fine. We're fine with all this because if they do end up flipping their thing in the ice, they end up picking up their Monastery Swift Spear. And all in all, that's perfectly fine by me. They're def the blue-red deck. Does the blue-red deck usually play... I guess it does usually play Sliding and also plays Manamorphose and all that jazz. They put 1 on top, 1 on bottom. Okay, we'll take a 2-ball. See, given that, do you want to try to Cryptic and bounce their thing in the ice? I think I'd rather get the expensive spell out of my hand, so I'm fine with that. Turn target permanent center's hand, we'll draw a card. They have counters in their deck, which some end up playing Dispel, some play Apostle's Blessing, and some play Spell Pierce. I'm perfectly fine just like trading any random card in their hand for my Cryptic command. I'm pretty confident I can find another way to interact with this thing in the ice. Yep, there's the Apostle's Blessing, so we won't draw a card because there's no other target for it. Perfectly okay with that. Prefer to do this now when I have no risk of dying here on their end step, though. Alright, Ancestral's coming off suspend. We're going to draw a bajillion more cards. Hopefully find some sweet action here. Found a Snapcaster that's maybe not the sweetest of action, but it's some action. It's a little dicey that if they flip their thing in the ice, we might have to just take a 7-ball and then try to kill on an end step here. We could do is we could just play a land, tap, and pass the turn and see what they do. I also want to Thought Scour myself pretty aggressively here, even though they topped a card, because I want to get my graveyard filled up with more good cards for Snapcaster Mage. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Watergrave tapped and just pass the turn back. Bolt me. Okie dokie. You have successfully bolted me, opponent. So if we go for a Snapcaster Terminate here, still on the end step, we know one of their cards is a Swift Spear, and they've got 2 unknowns, so for them to kill us, they have to have Temur Battle Rage and another Apostle's Blessing / Spell Pierce effect. Trying to think if that's better than just holding up, say, Counter Squall and going for it on an end step. Because this is going to put us to 12, and attack puts us to 5, Swift Spear put us to 4. Puts us to 3 if they do just then run out the Temur Battle Rage. Trying to figure out what gives us the best sort of math here to both survive and win. They didn't cast any spells previously to that. They casted Cantrip on their turn. Yeah, the turns are very useful as CG Viewbot, but unfortunately they are really expensive. Like, I don't actually own physical turns. I just borrow them for every single event. Yeah, Sneak TB, I think I agree. I think I'm going to go for the Snapcaster Charmate. If their last 2 cards are Apostle's Blessing, and then they have, you know, Temur Battle Rage as the last card in their hand or on top of their library, we're going to die, but I think it's tough. Alright, we did get to kill the thing in the ice. That's good. So we're at 12. They have Monastery Swift Spear and a spell that they topped. So I'm going to go ahead and chump here with my Snapcaster Mage so we have something great to rebuy. And I just want them to start casting spells. Okay, Bedlam Reveler, perfectly fine with that. What are we wheeling away? 2 Swift Spears and a Temur Battle Rage. Okay, so they did the Temur Battle Rage, but their hand was on their Swift Spear. So now we drew a great card in the matchup that counters a lot of their sort of nonsense over there. I think my plan here is I can either attack with my Snapcaster, or that just gives away that I have a K-Command or a Bolt. So I think I'm just going to pass and look to chump block and buy my guy back and make them discard or shock their guy if I think I can sort of fight over it some more. Given that, I could actually just Thought Scour myself right now. I do kind of want to leave up Counter Squall. Yeah, given I don't see a way they can really break through all the counter magic, I'm going to go and Thought Scour myself right now so you can fill up a better graveyard, maybe find a Terminate. End up finding another Cryptic. Given what we have, I think I'm going to play the turn so I can go get another red source. I'm just going to look to chump block here. Not really too concerned with dying, but I will start firing off some spells. Another thing in the ice. Yeah, I will counter this one because I don't have many ways to kill creatures. Again, this will start making them play spells, which perfectly okay with that. I want my opponent to just dump all the resources on the table. Okay, so they're going to see what's up here. I can't counter Squall this because I need to hold it up for a potential Temur Battle Rage, so we'll hold up for that. Now when we block here on end step, we're going to make them discard a card, and we're going to buy back our Snapcaster Mage with the Kolaghan's Command. Even though we already have Snappy in hand, I just kind of want to start whittling away at their resources. That's really what this game turns out to be. Snapback is a sweet card. This card needs to say 4 Snapcaster, 3 Banana. I hope that doesn't end up being a mean thing, because our opponent, I think, was genuinely nice, and everyone seemed to also agree. But yeah, I did agree. That was kind of funny. They called it Banana Man, and I don't know if the one card they said I had 2 of was. Alright, later, Snappy Doo. Alright, so they're just passing. Turn target creature, make you discard. I'm not in a spot yet where I can try to burn him out. I don't have any bolts over here ready to battle, so I'm just gonna make him discard some cardos. You guys are all awesome. It was Anger of the Gods? Oh, interesting. Okay. Wow, they didn't want a Manamorphose in response to the other card. What could be in their hand? Another Bedlam Reveler? They didn't want to tap mana, so this is probably a protection spell for their Bedlam Reveler, is what I have to figure out. Or what I've deduced. I would guess that last card in their hand is a protection spell. Another Cryptic. Alright, so I think it's a spot where I'm probably just going to Snapcaster to block, hit command, buy it back, make them discard a card, holding up Counter Squall. Given that, I need 7 mana, so I'm just going to play land and pass. Again, it looks kind of weird that I still have this Ancestral dangling, and I'm planning on this game going a lot longer, but I'm not really concerned with getting it out there as quickly as humanly possible, so to speak. Alright, probe for mana. You may probe for mana. You see that I've drawn a Cryptic command. Version doesn't... Yeah, I believe they're playing a list that has some more things on the slower side, I guess. I don't know, I haven't seen any of the slow cards technically, like... I think most people still play 1 or 2 Bedlam Revelers, man. It's not the most, frequent spell of sorts, but... It's a card that if I were playing this deck, I would not leave home without 3 copies in my 75. Yeah, it is certainly a slower draw from them. We haven't seen any slow cards. I guess I should have clarified that. Alright, so we've got a giant 5/6 over there. Do most lists not have a Reveler main deck anymore? S3, D3? 3 Banana. I think that's just gonna be the new thing of the stream. Everybody wants to talk about that 3 Bananas. Alright, blue, Cryptic. That was his K command. Yep, alright. So we let red block again. Target Kolaghan's command. Again, just fighting them down, just whittling them down on resources. That's the whole goal here. Also, if they play another Bedlam Reveler here, we're perfectly fine countering and trying to bounce, or maybe not bounce, but probably counter draw. Like, we can just Snapcaster, K command, get back the other one in the next turn. Alright, so we'll block here. We're even protected from something like Temur Battle Rage plus Dispel, because we can counter Squall the Temur Battle Rage, they Dispel back, we Snapcaster and get the Spell Snare we have sitting here in our graveyard. So, we've got no sort of shenanigans that are going to get us this turn. Unless there's some card where they, like, do the deal 1 to us, I don't know, some way to deal 1 damage, and then there's some way to, like, while you're at 10 life exactly, deal 10 to them. But I think that card costs 4 mana. Alright, let's return Snappy Doo, make you discard a card. What do we get this turn? Got a Sleight of Hand. So I still think they're on a... Oh, no, Vapor Snag, there we go. That was their... Ooh, that's a good one. I think it's got to be better than whatever protection spell they were covering for. Alright, well... Finally suspend our Ancestral Visions, I think. Unless we want to Snapcaster here main phase for Serum Visions. Could do that. It's probably actually better. We should just do that. Snapcaster Serum. Tassiger and Ancestral. We could Thought Scour our opponent to get that Tassiger immediately, which is what I'm going to do here. So let's place Ancestral on bottom, pick up that Tassiger. This also leaves up Counter Squall. So we'll mill our opponent. What do you mill over? Mill over Spire Bluff Canal and a Serum Visions. Alright, Tasker. We need to start doing a little damage here. Ancestral, get out of here. Want that, don't want this. And play black. Alright. We're on the way to turning the race here around. So we can start tapping their team and just whacking with a bunch of idiots. Albeit their team is just a 3-4. So. Here they could do some sweet stuff. They have like double teamer Battle Rage. They can grow to a 5. Obviously, we'd probably block with Tasker to make them play 2 spells. Might just double block, actually. Should I double block or jump? I think I want to double block. Grows to a 5-6, so they would have to have double teamer Battle Rage. Or teamer Battle Rage was a counterspell, I guess. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that is fine. I guess this might be a way for me to lose the game, but I have so many spells in my hand that I think if I just have enough time to play them all, probably be better off doing that. Alright, what you got, top deck? Teamer Battle Rage. Okay. We will go ahead and counter that. I'd expect them to have something else here. Alright, double teamer Battle Rage as expected. So they have 5 power double strikers, they end up killing our creature, and then trampling over 4, we go to 7. Not a great spot, not a horrible spot. There's a K command, so now we can set up a spot where discard them in their draw step, or we could right now bounce the Bedlam Reveler, draw a card, Kolaghan's Command, make them discard, buy back Tassiger, and they have this 1 turn to draw in their Bedlam Reveler. Let's go ahead and do that. Return target permanent, draw a card. Turn your Bedlam Reveler, blue, 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 red, blue. Drew a Scalding Tarn, sweet. Return target creature. I guess I should first check whether or not I'm on another island. I do. So, turn target creature, target player discards a card, return Tassiger. Oh, I guess then we should fetch the island first. Let's try to play remotely correctly. Scalding Tarn, not a Bloodstained Mire. You feel connected, Rudy? That's awesome. Alright, blue, red, black. You discard, we buy back Tassagoyf. Cast Tassagoyf. I should certainly fetch first. Good job. You guys are much more on top of it than I am. I'm sitting here, I even say it's Scalding Tarn out loud, and I'm just like, oh, I'll go fetch a blue source, and then I'll cast my... It's like, yeah, you don't get to cast that spell. That's not how magic works. Don't need the Spell Snare. We don't need this Counter Squall. No. We have 3 Cryptics in here. We don't need another Cryptic. And we don't need the... Would prefer Snapcaster Mage. What comes with that? Well, let's just get rid of all the Cryptics. Yeah. 3 bananas. Zach, it is a 4/5. You gotta... Kiln Fiend. Kiln Fiend. Alright, is our opponent Dobbs? I didn't do the math. I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lands. So if they block the Tassiger, they're not dead. Blue, red, black. I attack with this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I Snapcaster, yeah. Guess I should first make sure there's a Swamp Stone in my deck. Yep, okay. Alright, see, I'll make this attack. I would assume my opponent will not block, because it'll look like this is giving him a chance to win the game. Yep, correctly. I think that's correct for them to not block there. I think you just have to hope that I've made a horrible mistake. Fetch up a swamp, and then we'll Kolaghan's Command them in the face. Buy back Snappy, shock you. Alright, well, we won a game 1 in which our hand wasn't very good for the matchup, so that's sweet. when he bolted face for no reason. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'd have to play more with that deck, personally. But their hand at the point was Swift Spear, Reveler. I would assume, because I think they probably ended up topping the Temur Battle Rage going for the kill, and that was why they discarded Temur Battle Rage to it. E is really good in this matchup because most of their threats cost 2. The Dispels are fantastic as cheap interaction. The Negate's great because they're a Blood Moon deck in the post-boarded games, especially when they're on the play. Where did my Negate go? Oh, I accidentally drove in the Staticaster pile. Come on, Mode, I just want to click and drag my cards tonight. There we go, okay. Fulminators are pretty weak. They're a 2-color deck. You don't really want to try to Fulminator them. Collective Brutality is okay. Alright, chat. You guys decide. If we have a 5th sideboard card that we can board out, we'll board in Collective Brutality. Who's in favor of Collective Brutality? Who wants to board in some Collective Brutality action? Night, Danny. Yeah, we're only going to be going here for hopefully one more game. The chat will want to crack the chest. We'll probably crack another chest, and you know, maybe we'll open another sweet expansion, or not expansion. What were they called? Maybe they're called expansions. I don't remember. I mean, Masterpiece Series type cards. All right. Well, what do you want to cut then? Currently, I'm looking at the Ancestral Visions, as especially when I'm on the play, I probably just need to be a bit lower to the ground. We can shave Cryptics, but if we can stop the first wave of Blood Moons, they're going to be pretty effective. Tassigur's great as it just forces them to play spells out. Expeditions, there we go, thank you. They have Young Pyro afterboard? Okay, I've not seen Young Pyro out of this list yet. Given they could have Young Pyro, this Staticaster is just so bad otherwise. I think I'd rather just try to fight that with my burn spells and EEs. Alright, let's shave 2 of these, a Thought Scour, a Cryptic, bring these in. Well, I don't know what I accidentally brought in that I wasn't supposed to bring back in. Oh, the Thought Scour. And we'll take in another for Collective Brutality. Alright, we'll run with this. We'll see how this goes. Wait to see Pyro. Yeah, I agree, Popper or Bust. I think bringing in like 1 card to hedge, like 1 Damnation or 1 Anger, is better than bringing in the 1 Staticaster blind. Based on the merit that the Staticaster can still or Staticaster cannot kill the other creatures in the deck, whereas the Damnation or Anger could. Again, we have another 1-lander, not going to keep that. We have a 0-lander, not going to keep that. We have a 2-lander, we will keep this. We see a 3rd land, so we could run out a Serum Visions into an EE for 2, into a K command given this hand. Given that information, I think I'm going to top this land. So we'll keep that one. It's also nice that we have a bunch of fetches here. We can try to fetch around Blood Moon. Dude, our opponent is going ham on us. Oh, don't worry, Holy Diva. As soon as I saw my hand and saw that Scalding Tarn, I was stoked, because we're going to get to play around some Blood Moons. Okay, that's a good point, Animantra. Or Ann Makara? Ann Makara is what I'll call you for now, until you correct me. Yeah, we can't currently fetch black around Blood Moon. That is the unfortunate facet of our hand, but we are going to be able to get double island here if we absolutely need it. So usually I want to just immediately fetch, but again, we can't get black, so there is some sort of merit here to just playing the island, and then we'll only keep 1 of the cards. We need to keep 2 of the cards. It's getting a little awkward, but it's fine. Spell Snare. Spell Snare is a great draw. The K Command and the Terminator are both not so hot. Given that I already have control over 2 mana, and the 2 mana are the difficult creatures, I think I'm going to go and bottom both of these for now. This will also allow us to not have to sunburst the EE out next turn. There's a Young Pyro. Whoever was on the Young Pyro train, you guys won. You guys win. Alright, well, we drew the swamp. They're gonna make a crap load of tokens here. I think given that information, my plan is just to play a Scalding Tarn and pass. And if they try to play a Blood Moon, we'll fetch another island, maybe, but we do want a K command. So we might still just fetch, like, a dual land tapped. But moreover, I want to hold up Snare here for another 2 mana card, potentially. Even though I have EE planned for turn 4, my plan is to counter a 3 mana play, or 2 mana play, and then K command, kill the Young Pyro. So it's very likely my EE is just to clean up tokens. It's very possible they didn't have the Young Pyro in their hand, which is why they played the Probe. Yeah, I would agree with this. Another Serum Visions, A-okay with me. I'm not going to be spending our mana this turn very efficiently, but not a big deal. First goal here is get the Pyro off the board and we can clean up all the tokens on the turn after and still potentially Spell Snare up. We're going to take quite a bit of damage though. Probably going to take a 5 or 6 ball here and then potentially another 6 ball on the turn after. Would be nice if our opponent would tap their Steam Vents, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Alright, so with this we're going to get a Steam Vents. Again, that doesn't fetch us around Blood Moon very effectively, but Scour's nice. Alright, we're going to make them discard right now. This doesn't play around. It doesn't play around like Apostle's Blessing or Vapor Snag very well, but I don't want them to untap in like Manamorphose. By doing it on their upkeep, I think is my logic here. Yeah, Sneak. Oh gosh, if we had Electrolyze, jeez. Alright, target them as the player. We'll target their creature. We'll see how this goes. This might be incorrect. Also, if they have a bunch of Dispels and Spell Pierces, some lists do, some lists don't. Like, this is also going to be even more wrong. Alright, it did resolve. I would expect them to discard a creature here for some reason. I don't know why I feel like they're going to discard a creature. Wow, 18 are Battle Rage still in their deck. Okay. I feel like usually if you're bringing the Young Pyro package, you're just trying to play like a Delver deck. Fall to 8. This is probably Blood Moon. I probably would have cast that pre-combat. No biggie. Ooh, Tassagoyf. Tassie, Goyf. Kind of want to just play Tassiger and leave up Spell Snare / Thought Scour, so I think we'll do that. It risks the most long-term damage, but I think, like, if they suicide a creature into get damage, and I think it's going to end up, like, perfectly fine for them. But I think I can play through this Blood Moon pretty effectively, or I'd rather just leave out Spell Snare for a Thing in the Ice, just like that. Yeah, we drew them to Swamp naturally on turn 3. I was pretty lucky. They would certainly have chosen to draw Swamp that turn, the turn we did. Alright, we can also terminate. So we could play EE for 0 here, blow up some LE tokens, terminate their Swift Spear, and just start racing. But they didn't play a land that turn. They could just have more like Thing in the Ice type cards. I almost want to just attack and see if they'll chump block. But I think that runs the risk of a protection spell. But they didn't have a protection spell 2 turns ago, so it's very difficult for them to have a protection spell now. Mills, I don't think there's any room in the 60, but I believe in the 75 you could fit room for a Vendilion Click. I think right now I still have like 2 to 3 sideboard slots open. And I think given the metagame shifts, say the metagame shifts to more Bantal, Drazi, Scape Shift, Tron, decks of that nature, Even Jeskai can, well, maybe not Jeskai control. Cause you want it against Jeskai control in sideboarding games, but not in the pre-boarding games where they just have so much removal. That you could certainly have it there also. I think it's a very good card. All right, let's lead on this Terminate. It could be wrong, but all right. Play Z for 0. I want to start bashing. I'm game to get frisky. I'm gonna try to kill my opponent. Not sure if it's the right line. I mean, obviously our opponent has 3 spells in their hand, but they just played 1 threat that last turn, and I'm not really concerned if it's specifically that threat. Negates a good draw. I will hold on to that while holding up Thought Scour. This puts our opponent to 7 on this Kraken. Also remember, the Blood Moon is a double-sided effect, so our opponent really only has 1 blue. So anytime they cast a blue spell, all their cantrips that they're trying to dig to other things, it's really difficult for them to combo multiple spells per turn right now. Haha, sneak. If the metagame were slower, goodness gracious, you don't have to ask me twice. Gosh darn it, Bedlam Revelor is a really tough card to beat here. Yeah, I wish I had that Terminate now. Alright, fine. That happens. They had a Teamer Battle Rage and a young Pyro, looks like. Alright, we're going to mill ourselves. We could still hit like Snapcaster and stuff. Just flashback as Terminate. Mountain is the land that we least would like to draw, but that's the one we did draw. Cryptic's the spell we would least like to draw, but that's the one we drew. So we can take an aggressive line here by attacking, and I think blocking is really poor at this point, so I'm definitely going to attack in with my Tasigur. I think I want to make my bolts as live as possible, and I would be surprised my opponent didn't end up blocking here. Note, they did draw a land last turn, so they could still have a land in their hand. Don't you want Twisted Imagery to be a thing in the ice? Yeah, I mean, I love 1 mana kill your creature, draw a card. How do you feel about this Revelor timing? I feel very stupid. Like I said, I wasn't really sure if my line was great. I thought it was like probably pretty medium, but I felt like I was in a spot where I could take the aggressive roll and my opponent wasn't really doing much. Like if their best play was to like Blood Moon me, and it felt like it also slowed them down a bit, then I was happy to try to play this game. Swift Spear, sure. Kiln Fiend, sure. I'm gonna take a lot of damage and it's gonna suck. Doop, doop, doop. Leaving it back on defense, okay. Well, we are going to need to draw a good spell this turn. Craving Tar Pit is not a good spell. Alright, well, our opponent didn't play a spell last turn. If they had a spell, it would have been very difficult for me to kill them. I'm trying to think if there's any world in which I can attack and force a chump block, and that is better than me sitting here and accepting that I'm dead to any spell. Since I'm dead to any spell on either side, I think it's correct for me to attack and force a chump block. So attack and force a chump block. So I don't think if my opponent... I don't think my opponent could possibly take this hit. If they take this hit, I would just be shocked. Okay, that gets that out of the way. Plays Creepy Tar Pit. Fortunately, this negate is not going to do anything. If they draw a spell, we are going to be dead on the board. Oh yeah, ETB Tap Mountain's really great. What do you think of the Heaney's expertise from Aether Revolt? Cast AV, other Sweet Tempo Wrath. No, you're fine. Yeah, Mills, anytime you want to ask questions, please ask. I think Heaney's expertise is a really good card. I just don't think it's going to be good in this version of Grixis. I'm probably going to try the card out before Vancouver, but my expectation is that you will want to play it in a more tap-out style control deck, probably featuring, featuring like Jace Vryn's Prodigy, possibly Liliana the Veil. Like, I think you want to be a tap-out control deck, where you're sort of playing similarly to Jund. You're like blue Jund at that point. Alright, what in the world can we draw that wins us the game? Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster Mage would be a good draw. How about Cryptic Command? Did you say Cryptic Command? I did not. Alright. Fair enough. Probably could have played around the Bedlam Reveler. Could have played defensively. Maybe could have killed the Blood Moon. Obviously I didn't have Cryptics at the time, but... We top 450 to 5, top 64 to 50k. They were in this meta, it's a no-go. You just need Pendulum to swing back and forth. Hey, I've never had the privilege of casting a Cruel Ultimatum other than in Cuba drafts. I can only imagine doing it in a format where, you know, you're battling for $50,000. That's got to be freaking sweet. Yeah, no, we've imported out. We've imported out a Cryptic. What the heck? Come on, deck. Alright, so we're going to probably bring in this as a static caster. It's a matter of do we want the Damnation. Again, the Cryptics are sort of slow. We could board in another one of those. The Brutality looks pretty bad to me, so I'm going to probably take it out. Bring in the static caster. Still don't think I want this Damnation. Let's bring in static caster and we'll help fight that. Kind of wish we had another Ancestral in our deck. How can another Ancestral into our deck? Get another Ancestral into our deck by cutting a card. How about a Cryptic? Let's draw more cards. Drazoid. Isn't that Danroth? I think it's Danroth. What's up, man? How goes? Yeah, CGV bot, don't worry. We got a static caster. She's ready to battle. I gotta find my water bottle. I haven't, like, stopped talking here in 3 hours or whatever. Yeah, I like cutting a Cryptic just because of the Blood Moon issue. It's also difficult to effectively cast it when they have Temur Battle Rage, and usually I board out Temur Battle Rage, but my opponent has left it in. It's a similar thing. Usually you might shave 1 or 2 against Infected Pilots. I'm going to keep this hand. It's super reactive, but I mean, this hand's really great. It's got 2 Dispel, it's got a Bolt, got a Snapcaster, so we can bolt it again. Not the Snap, Bolt, Snap, but Bolt, Snap, Bolt. Go ahead and play a Steam Vents tapped. Hand doesn't effectively fetch around a Blood Moon. I mean, we can get Swamp with our Bloodstained Mire, but them's the beats. Not a great draw. I didn't really want to draw another Snapcaster, but awesome, Gertz. That's awesome. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to ask. I'm going to bolt this right now instead of flashing the Snapcaster Mage. I'm going to be pretty sad if my opponent ends up making me feel miserable and playing a Blood Moon next turn. I'm going to not crack this as I want to draw a land. Didn't draw a land, but I drew a counter for a Blood Moon, so that's really great. So going to get us to 3 cards in the graveyard also if we end up having to cast this on a Blood Moon, which is going to put us in prime position to set up for a Tasigur. Get probed, sure. You see I have lots of counter-target instant spells. Pyro's Goggles for Cruel Ultimatum? Holy cannolis. Turn 5 Chandra, turn 5 Cruel Ultimatum? You guys are playing in a different world than me. This sounds... I wish I lived in that world, though. That world's freaking awesome. I'm over here, my opponent's like playing Kill Fiend. It's like, you could be dead next turn. Do you know that you're going to be dead? I remember when this deck was brand new and it almost killed me on turn 3. Scary. Scary, scary, scary. What if there's like some weird alternate universe where I should have countered that with Counter Squall just so that I could draw an untapped land next turn and just slam Tasigur even through a Blood Moon? Jason, it's more of just a feel thing. Like, I feel like my opponent is boarding in such a way that I don't know if I'm going to be able to leverage my Cryptic commands effectively enough. Swissbear, really? If they attack here, I'm fetching a Swamp and blocking. Alright, I'm fetching a Swamp and blocking. Moffat. Moffat opponent, you're getting blocked. Gotta get cards in our graveyard for Tasigoyf. Again, this is just another metric of I want them to trade spells for spells. Okay, so here, I think I just want to Snapcaster Bolt this Kiln Fiend now. It's going to keep me off holding up for Blood Moon, but I still have the ability to cast Tasigur if I can get 1 more card in my graveyard. I won't be able to cast any more blue spells. I don't know how horrendous that is. I'm trying to think what's a realistic way my opponent could fight through double dispel and kill me though, so I can probably just actually hold up. That's probably fine. Let's do that. We will shock ourselves and hold up. That's just a way better play. So this prevents them from casting Blood Moon because they can counter squall it. And we're actually lucky enough that we could also hold up Dispel. And they can't really kill us here because we have double Dispel. Yeah, I will be playing Team Modern in San Antonio Mills. I'm playing with Sam Black and Justin Cohen. So I'm going to get carried really hard. It's going to be great. Gertz, I feel like right now it's super tight, but that's just because the metagame hasn't been shifting. Like, people haven't been trying to get out of their comfort zone and make crazy decks. Like, really the only people you see doing that are, like, Zach Elsick, who just every week wants to play just some random ham sandwich that sounds super fun to him. Like, I think if the metagame started shifting, like, really violently every weekend, I would be more into... Oh my gosh, that's an island. Thank you, good. Goodness gracious, give me an island. That was a great draw. So now we have to figure out if we want to snap bolt it, and then if that goes off, we don't have enough cards for Tasigur, but it will leave up to spell. If we get Blood Mooned, I don't even think we're unhappy if we get Blood Mooned anymore. So I definitely think we want to snap bolt now. Definitely want to snap bolt now. Yeah. This will allow us to turn the corner pretty effectively. They're going to need a Bedlam Reveler to get back into this game, I think. This might be just loose doing all this, though, because we had the double Dispel. Yeah, thinking about it more, this might actually be really bad. I think because we had the double Dispel, I don't know if our opponent would actually be able to realistically kill us. This is a way see they can kill us. Yep. I should have thought about that a little bit longer. This is the card we're actually going to lose to. There's just no justice in the world. I should get punished so hard for doing the stupid things that I do. Alright, well I'm going to attack. Hopefully they'll cast an instant spell. We'll get to trade cards for it. They'll trade their token for my Snapcaster Mage. I'll bolt their Young Pyro. I'll play Tasigur. I'll hold up another Dispel. I say okay. I think Justin's a lot better than people give him credit for. He also doesn't want to hype himself up that much. I don't understand Justin. But Justin's won a team tournament. I believe he finals to GP also with a similar deck. Yeah, that Manamorphose ain't happening, friend. You do not get to draw extra cards in this world. Oh yeah, we're playing horrendously and just getting exceptionally lucky. It's awful. I mean, in all honesty, like, if I get to play Grixis, like, if our decks line up where I get to play Grixis, do you know who will be playing what formats? Oh, we're not playing the... I'm sorry. Ready, we're playing the Team Modern Grand Prix. We're not playing the Team Open at Star City Open. But if we were playing this Team Star City Open, I'd be down. That sounds fun. I don't know what weekend it is, or if there's, you know, a tournament that I'm supposed to be playing instead that weekend. But that tournament sounds super fun to me, and I would do that, given the opportunity. I'm leaving Lightning Bolt and Snapcaster Mage. And I mean, Sam Black, I think, is one of the current probably top 10 players in the world, maybe top 15. Yeah, we're at 4 minutes. We'll be fine. Pretty much, I think our opponent needs a Bedlam Reveler to get back into this game, and we're going to get him pretty good. They have 2 spells in their graveyard right now, so they can't even cast it this turn, because I think it only says instant sorceries on it. Sorry. It's 2 weeks after Dublin? I thought there was a Grand Prix 2 weeks after Dublin. Ooh, we drew a Cryptic Command. Now they have a Bedlam Reveler. They're going to get Rock'em Sock'em Boppered. Probably not, Rudy. Dino, get some sleep if you have to, man. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you had a good time. Teamer Battle Rage. Yep, that is a Bedlam Reveler in their hand, as I expected. So they're sitting here trying to, you know, quote-unquote add to the storm count, filling up their graveyard. They're going to end up tapping all their mana. They're going to slam a giant Bedlam Reveler. And they're going to be really sad because we've top-decked much better than we've played this game. So counter-target spell, draw a card. Yeah, if I couldn't play Anger of the Gods, I'd still play Grixis. I think I could find suitable substitutes for the card. Alright, ended up drawing K command. That gets us back our Snapcaster. We don't need to fire it off in their draw step because they already have a card. I don't want to fire it off right now. I could have, like, maybe they drew another Bedlam Reveler, but... Monastery Swiftspear resolves. Alright, so here again, we'd rather discard their hand, as a 1-2 on the battlefield is not really a resource worth fighting over. Red, blue, black. Leave open our Dispel, get back our Snappy Doo. So now they're forced to block if this resolves, which I can't imagine not resolving because we have Dispel. Manamorphose. I'm going to go ahead and let that resolve. As if they draw an instant, they're going to have to fire it off if it's an instant that matters. And if it's an instant that doesn't matter, they're just going to have to discard the card. So there's no reason for me burning my Dispel here. Let's see what they drew. They drew Get Probe. So they have to block. So I can just have 6 here. Fortunately, don't have enough mana to snap K command in the draw step, but no big deal. We're going to snap Bolt him here on end step. Get Snappy Doo ready to battle. Bolt you down to 4. And we've got a Spell Snare and a Dispel at 0 ready. Would you still play Grixis? Control if you can... Oh, I already answered that. Alright, sorry. Just so used to people going crazy. Alright, so I'll start asking now. Do people want to open the chest or not open the chest? We opened the chest last time. It was an adventure. We opened a Mana Confluence. Vapor Snag, Dispel. Didn't earn it. Did not play very well tonight also. I'm going to try to improve on just everything still. Open the chest. Alright, we got one move before open the chest. We're going to start having to learn how to get... Always open the chest. Do not open the chest. Open the chest. Open or rage. KGC, you're the only logical person that doesn't want to open it because it's a spew of value. Always open. Open. Open the chest or smork. Because viewers don't care about Eevee. This is unfortunately true. Open the chest. Alright. Chest giveaway. We'll get the chest giveaway when I've been doing this long enough and just grind out just like a million of these a day. Alright, let's see. I think they're in tickets? No, they're not in tickets. They're in tokens. No, sealed product. There we go. Figured it out. Alright, here we go. Anyone want to guess? Like, I was going to tell you to not spew. Yeah, Ryan, I don't know. Everyone in our chat has actually been so logical that I just assume that they're like, oh yeah, don't open a chest. That's crazy. Why would you do that? Chest. Always open the chests. Dude, I can get on board with that. Yeah. Chandler, I don't think I know you personally, but if you open, I don't follow. Oh, come on. That's not cool, Chandler. What if I just give you a chest? Can I just give you a chest? 3 bananas? Oh, this is brutal. Alright. Chandler, I'm sorry. You can hate me. I understand. Alright. Anyone want to guess what it's going to be? Open a pack. Why would we open a pack? We gotta save all these packs for Aether Revolt. That way we don't have to buy $7,000 of the Aether Revolt packs. Open and I will follow. See, this is horrible. Oh, you guys are just... Alright, here we go. We're gonna open. Hurrah! Ooh, Grove of the Burn Wolves. Is that still worth 1 million tickets? I think that's worth 1 million tickets. Got a Liliana, I guess, a Cirrus Sanctum. LOTV. I don't know what LOTV is, but I got a GOTB. Is GOTB worth infinite? Throw cards into a fire. Price Grove of the Burn Walls. Ooh, 17.34 ticks. Firing off. Hopefully that wasn't horrible on the mic. If it was, please tell me. We'll never do it. We're gonna need a little cowboy with just double magnums firing into the air. Oh yeah, I mean, you just play horribly, see, and you get a Grove. Yeah, Chandler, we made the EV negative decision, but we got rewarded. So, a lot of how we played tonight. Played badly, won anyways. I got Serra Sanctum and Agite in the same one? Holy cannolis. Serra Sanctum's the white cycle of the lands that taps for additional, right? There was the 5 lands, and I know the green, white, and the blue ones are the insane ones, where it's Tolarian Academy, Gaia's Cradle. I think it's Serra Sanctum's the white one, right? We need a banana emote? Alright, I'm gonna have to start harassing Twitch to figure out when I can get partnered so we can get sweet emotes for you guys, because that'll be the fun part. I think everyone can use those, right? Or you don't have to be a sub to the channel, do you? I'm hoping people can just use them so we can have like a little dude with the magnums going off. If you don't open more, I won't help you figure out who I am, and we'll see HMTG. I obviously want to figure out who you are. I hate mysteries. Okay, so Disney Channel 1. Well, at this rate, might as well open them all. I don't know if that's the logic that applies. I think I might be my first girl with the burning walls. Now you got 17 tickets. Open the chest so you break even. You do have to be a sub? Oh, that's lame, Flying Shy Guy. Thank goodness for Amazon Prime, though. At around 2,000 followers. How do I tell how many I have? I have 762 views, so I doubt we have 2,000 followers. Open, wait. Okay, we'll open one more, and then I'm going to call it a stream. Open one more. Chandler's going to hate me. Everybody in the chat, be nice to Chandler, even though he's not going to be pleased. I can understand. The logic's very sound. One of my best friends who I worked with was also very much the same way of why would you ever make an EV minus decision. Like, opening the chest is probably on average like 1.8 or something. I don't know the exact math. And selling to a bot I think was like 2.5 the last time I checked. Here we go. Drum roll, please. We have 202 followers. See, we're like a tenth of the way there. We only need to do like 50 more streams. And trust me, I want to do 50 more streams because these are freaking fun. No, don't say bye to Chandler. He's a nice dude. There we go. See, Jordy Bob Spaghetti. At least you're trophy friendly. Here we go. Anyone want to guess? Some more strict when I got par and they didn't seem to be a lot more flexible. All right, Dan Roth. We'll figure it out. I mean, I want to do this a bunch more before we even get to that point. Anyways, this is super fun for me. I also probably want to get to the point where I can like Twitch or Skype people in, and we should have like a bunch of people just hanging out, kicking it. Chandler's not gonna ruin us. Chandler's a nice person. They were just making the only logical decision. Consider the EV of entertaining viewers, probably more EV in the long run. Opening chest is most logical. Oh lord. Alright, here we go. We're opening it up. Here we go. Da-da-da-da. I don't know what this card does. Sacrifice a creature. Target player puts a number of cards equal to the sacrifice creature power from the... So they mill equal to the sacrifice creature's power. So it's like... I think Altar of the Brood is the card similar to that. I would guess this one's worth -$. Like, I guess the bot would not take this from us. Yeah, see, Chandler, you won on this one. This one's got to be worth $. Alright, there we go. Stop opening up 7 ticks. There's no way. There's no way, F.A. I don't believe you. Wait, what? What the hell? What? Alright. Okay, what in the world? Somebody must... That bot must be broken, right? I'm going to MTGO Wiki Bryce. Altar of Dementia. It's a pretty good name, actually. Tempest. I guess after this we can also check goat bots. Holy goodness. I've got buy for 8.7 here. 8.17. Oh yeah, I'm not in a rush at all, Dan. Like I said, I just want to do this because it's freaking sweet. It's fun. MTG bot saying it's 9.82 tickets. Like, this is freaking ridiculous. Alright. Alright, I lied. I'm sorry. I don't like lying to people. Very last one. Very last one. Hurrah! Alright, I think we went out on a negative. That's good. We got the whole range of emotions going there. Just a complete brick. Open value lifestyle. Chroma. 2 sack a creature. Fiery bombardment deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of red mana symbols in the sacrifice creature's mana cost. So I assume Chroma was an ability word that was do something and then based on the colored mana symbols of this card's color, do some effect. Anybody know what the chroma keyword does? It's already hilarious. Chroma equals... Oh, it was the first version of Devotion? Okay, that's cool. It seems like whatever version they had to get to Devotion, I think Devotion was way sweeter. Oh no, I don't want to add that to my sideboard. I want to add that to my trade binder. Goodness gracious, that's horrendous. And what was the other card we opened? A Grove of the Bee. Your Formula's chest, it rhymes with Jarg. I can make up some more clues. But... Oh, is it Chark? God, I hope I got there. Come on, one-time dealer, tell me I got there. Oh, I have 2 Grove that burn walls. God, I'm so lucky. Chroma does not equal up a new chest. We already lied to you guys once by saying the last chest, and then we opened some card that looked like dog crap to me, and it happened to be worth, 8 tickets. I'm gonna guess the facepalm is an absolute not, and you don't know who Chark is. Oh, Mark's a good one too. But I wouldn't have guessed CHMTG. Yeah, I thought I've streamed before and Chark has watched when I was streaming Legacy Storm like 3 years ago, Ryan. I thought his username on Twitch was just Chark. Mills, whenever we get to a subscriber button, you can absolutely subscribe. Chark H. Obv. I guessed Ben Stark earlier, Cody, but I don't think Ben Stark would have gone through all of this. That was why I immediately gave up on that. Ready, my next stream is probably going to be on New Year's Day. Tomorrow I'm going out with some buddies in the Los Angeles area, a bunch of the Magic playing group. If you know anybody, like, I don't think Andrew Brown's coming back, but we have Gaston Perez, Eugene Wong. I did not actually look at the entire list. Let me pull up the entire list. I assume most of you guys have heard of all these people. I don't think, like, Neil Anderson's coming down. I think Cliff Chen's coming with us. I legitimately don't have any idea who's all going to our thing tomorrow, so I should figure that out. But, New Year's Eve 2017. Let's see who all it is. Austin Bach, he's a couple top 16s at Grand Prix. David Bayardo. He was actually one of the people I talked into playing Grixis. He's Mark Rosewater, clearly. Funny. I guess Chark too, even though he's asleep. It would be difficult for him to, be your roommate if he's already passed out. Zark? Tom Cruise. Oh my gosh. This is what the chat devolves to we don't get to play. Ray Park? I don't know who Ray Park is. Let's see. Nick Escobar, Ryan Castillo, Trevor Smith. Trevor Smith's another player. I believe he has 2 top 16s at Grand Prix in the last couple of years. I think he's taken a break from playing Magic a bit lately, but somebody that I think if you wanted to put in the time to it, we usually give him crap because he doesn't make sort of the deck choices we would usually play, but hey, he puts up the results, so props to him. I also am in that boat where I don't play, the decks that people say are great. I'm sitting here playing Grixis Control, and you guys are hanging out with me, so. The hyphenated part is relevant, Corey. Oh, it is? Ugh. I'm gonna have to think about it more. That's unfortunate. Do I get another clue on the next stream, CHMTG? Because that'll make it more worth it. Tier 7 lifestyle. There you go, MTV. You're on top of it. You're on top of it. We might change up the list a little bit more, try out some more cards. I mean, part of what I want to do with this is that I don't want to just, grind out and try to figure out the absolute sort of, way to improve my play moreover. I'd rather try out a bunch of cards, and if people have sweet cards that we can try out, we'll keep trying them out. Unfortunately, we didn't draw the Collective Brutality at all tonight. We lost to an Abzan Pilot, which I think is a good matchup. They drew a bunch of Lingering Souls, so they played, they played very well. They also just, played around ways where they could have lost the game. The Negate was really good, so I'm really happy with the Negate. We'll need to figure out if it wants to be a Negate or a Counter Squall long term, but... Arcbound Worker, I don't know if that's true, but I think that they want it right now because what they believe right now is that you can't play a deck like this. I think if some deck like this were actually just the best deck in the format, it would be kind of annoying, but, it's certainly attackable, so I think that if this was the best deck in the format from, a design standpoint, I think that's fantastic. It's very easy to attack this deck, and it's very easy to start like a cyclical motion of, okay, I found to beat this, I go play Tron. What do I do to beat Tron? I play Burn. What do I do to play Burn? Like you can play Boggles, or I think Ad Nauseam is probably really good against Burn. Like you played some deck like that, and then it's like you build up all the way to the point where it's like, okay, we're playing Infect again. It's like, okay, well, Infect's the best deck. I want to play Grixis Control. Yeah, Warp TV, I miss Risefall. Risefall's great. We should probably try out some Risefall. Far and Away Mills, that's a sweet card. We could try that one out sometime soon. I don't know if it's powerful enough for modern play, as it was barely powerful enough for standard play, but Soul Sisters, goodness gracious. Soul Sisters decimates red. Oh, yeah, no, I didn't think you were by any means, but, yeah, I personally believe that X viable. I feel very similar that Grixis Controls is very close to Jund. I think some of the drawbacks to it are that you have to play a lot better than... I think you have to play a lot better on average than you would on average playing Jund, but you're also given way more decisions. So, like, as Jund, your decisions are hyper focused in the first few turns, where on, like, how do you sequence your discard into your creatures, like, do you threaten your opponent with damage before you threaten their hand? Which threat are you going to leverage being the last permanent on the battlefield? Is it going to be a Liliana? Is it going to be a Grimflayer, a Dark Confidant, a Tarmogoyf, a Scavenging Ooze? Like, that's more of what your decisions are, whereas when you play Grixis, it's, okay, how do I get my opponent down to no hand? How do I figure out what the contents of their hand are, so that then I can slowly whittle down their permanents? Oh ho ho ho, you're in our chat. Awesome. But you said your name's hyphenated. Goodness gracious, I'm too stupid for this. CH isn't the initials of anybody. Whatever, you'll probably make fun of me tomorrow night. It'll be great. We'll be drunk and you'll probably just give up CHMTG if you're hanging out with us tomorrow. It'll be fun. Someone who plays Magic in the Southeastern Michigan area. The MJ special. Oh yeah, MJ's gas. If you guys don't watch Darkest Mage on Twitch, you're doing it wrong. He can sometimes have a negative attitude, but in all, you will learn a lot by watching his stream. He's very, very smart. Very, very good player. And will pretty much just permanently avoid the cards that he thinks are bad. So if you're struggling, say, in a limited format, it's just like, okay, I just need to identify which cards are good, which cards are bad. Like, he'll just very quickly tell you that they're unplayable, but you might need to pry the reasons out of him why, because he's just set in stone, no, this card's just completely unacceptable. Oh yeah, MTV, that is probably a character flaw myself. Alright, but yeah, I'm gonna head out, guys. Everyone's starting to dip out here. Yes. I will work on it, Hefe, I'm sorry. Shaped Nuggets card wildly unplayable. That is a common phrase. I think my favorite one that I've ever gotten from MJ is, I believe that you believe. I will leave with the spoilers of, this was my awesome sealed deck from this morning. If you can find 23 cards that you're happily able to put into a deck here, congratulations, because I could not find 23 that I was happy to put in. Awesome sneak. If you aren't already following me, guys, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I am Corey_Burkhart, or Corey.Burkhart15 is my Facebook. I'll post up on there when more streamos are going live, and I would absolutely love having more people around because it's really fun, and I'm glad the chat's, you know, very vibrant and lively and joking with each other and harassing me about silly things that I do and adding cool little Twitch commands now. This is fun. So, who's MJ again? Goodness gracious. Alright, take it easy, everybody. Y'all have a good night. I will see you New Year's Day. Laters.